See how it turns out.
Let's do it.
Forget that Facebook garbage. We don't need no stinking Facebook.
No.
All right, brother.
All right.
Harmony Organic Chocolate Milk.
I've been seeing that.
It's my breakfast today.
I feel that.
Off coffee 4 days so far.
Oh, there. Congrats.
Yeah, it's a huge win for me.
For sure. That's awesome.
I was off it for 25 years, and then I had to quit irregular heartbeat.
Right.
My doctor said, "Oh, you're stressed out." I said, "You say that every time you don't know what's wrong with me." And then, so I said, "What do I do? I got to work out more. Or what's the fix?" He said, "Caffeine, nicotine, alcohol." Well, alcohol I wasn't ready to give up.
Yeah. Who is?
But pretty much giving it up now. Not giving up completely, but I don't abuse it as often as I used to, because that's
good.
the problem. When you start drinking, you just like,
yeah,
you get a couple in you, and then you're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's a win. The coffee was a win. Then I just got tricked into it. I was having some at my men's group on Thursday mornings. It tasted great, and I just got to a place of like, okay, well, this is the easiest one to let go.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, smoking's not so easy to give up.
No, of course.
Nicotine, anyways, cigarettes.
Yeah,
but
that's the whole thing of it, right?
Yeah, that's why I get you good. Oh yeah, watch it. We don't make a mess there.
Sorry about that.
So brother, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank
Everett
you for having
Champion,
me,
as you can see on the. I don't need to. It's my old radio. And now. And with me now is Everett Champion, because no one really on radio, I can't see the guy, but the title's right there, so I don't need to say, and my special guest is Everett Champion. Brother, yeah, I appreciate you coming in. It's been a long time, man. Talk to you. I really appreciated your dad grabbing me at Theater Crisp, or was it Theater Crisp you performed at?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And Steve, many probably know. In fact, at the party I was at last night, Jiffer turned 50 years old. I'm like, I'm having Everett Champion on tomorrow. They're like, who? I'm like, oh, Steve Champion's kid. Oh, Steve. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you
Everyone
go.
knows your dad, right?
Yeah.
But no, I really meant a lot to him. He came up to me and said, "Hey, you remember that show?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's not. I love doing the MC thing, but I don't do a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I don't get asked very often. Sometimes I'll say, "Hey, you need an MC?" because I'm really into, Theater Crisp or something like that.
Of course, yeah.
But, I think Hurricane asked me, whatever reason, and then Theater Crisp opened for them. Mm-hmm. You opened for Theater Crisp at that gig at Front 54.
Yeah.
And then at the warehouse, your dad came up to me and said, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but you said some really nice things about my, before my kid went up." And it was, I think, something just like, you know what? Was that your first performance live?
It wasn't my first. I think it was probably the first three, I think. Because
Okay.
I remember my first show was, I opened up for, in the list of a bunch of people, I was at the very bottom, but I was opening up for, like, the CAC himself. I think it was, like, his 13th album
How
release.
much did you love the CAC?
Oh, he's a great guy.
Isn't he the best?
Yeah. He's
charitable donator.
Yeah, he's just like a great dude. I remember like when I don't even remember how I even got in contact. It must have just been through Dano, because Dano's like helped me with so much at the beginning of my career and even now. But I remember going, and I had no idea. I'd only ever performed in front of my school and at like maybe a few open mics. And I walked in and I had no idea what I was doing, and he just came up. He's like, "Hey man, so excited to have you." Like, it's great because he's obviously he's the headliner. It's his thing, and I'm the 14th act, but he was like, "Hey man, so happy to have you, thanks so much for coming." And it was like, damn, you could have just we might have not even met, you know what I mean? Like, it could have just been like, all right, cool, go up.
Yeah.
But no, he's super nice guy.
Yeah. And so I think I said something like, "You know what, this is hard work, man, and this is this kid's first live performance, or performing in a bar or whatever." I think it was a first of some sort.
It was definitely like the first that wasn't, it was like the first that was really felt like it was like a public show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And anyway, I can't even remember what I said, but I think it was something to the effect that, like, give this guy some love and support because hey, he's a young guy, and this is what they need. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I can't remember what I said, but I was so grateful for your dad. It's just a few words, and we were just talking about that before we came on air.
Yeah.
It's like how important it is to receive acknowledgement. Like it's kind of an ego thing, but it just makes you feel like you're on the right path when somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you remember that thing you said to me?"
Yeah.
Well, I've been meaning to tell you this for 10 years, but it changed my life, and thank you.
Yeah.
I had a buddy the other day. We came over for a quick hang. We got high as hell and just hang out and watch sports here. And,
as you do.
And the next day, he sent me a message. He's like, "Bro, I really appreciated hanging with you last night." And this is a quote: "You changed the trajectory of my life."
Wow.
Like,
that is
what's better than that?
That's
and
a
we
business
just
card
had a
statement.
hang, but we got kind of deep, and I'm all about people's heads. Like, I love getting in there, and it's like, you might say to me, "Well, I hate heights," or something like that. I'm like, "Well, actually, that's bullshit, because you remember that time, this, and this, and you didn't hate heights any of those times, so it's something else." Because we tend to come up with these lies that we develop, and then we start to believe them.
For sure.
And it's only our good friends that'll go, "That's bullshit."
Yeah.
So don't bring that around anymore. We kind of like sell it on a tray, like a cold beer here, that big tray with that thing.
Yeah.
That's our lie. We kind of shop it around,
See
right?
who takes it.
Yeah, and lots of your friends will go, "Oh, poor," because it's usually a sorry piece, right?
Yeah.
It's designed to get you sympathy or get you off a responsibility or something like that. So anyway, we just happened to be hanging, and I kind of got deep with him a little bit, and it was fun because we worked some stuff out.
Yeah.
Like he worked some stuff out for him as a result of my conversation.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't have that every day.
No, but when it happens,
just simply like your father coming up to me at that show, it meant a lot for me because I want to know like if I'm ever having a positive impact. You know what I mean? And so that meant a lot to me. So
for sure. Well, I mean, I've even me personally, like it was so great to have such an introduction. Like, when I used to like play for my school and back in high school, they go, Everett Champion or Easy EC, and that's it. But to have, you were introducing everybody, and the fact that you even included me in the lineup, like, again, being like the smallest opener at that time, it's easy to just be like, "Okay, kid, go up for your half an hour and get out." Like, I remember I had to leave because I wasn't old enough to be in the bar. Like, that's,
Right.
But I did really appreciate what you said back then because it was very impactful to me as well. Yeah. Like it was, like show this kid some love. It's his first time out, and I was like, "Oh, I hope so." Like, thanks,
yeah, that's cool, man. I really appreciate that. Now, do you look at like being the open? Like I know, kind of like the format has been. You got the opener, you got the headliner, what we call the headliner.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody comes on after the headliner usually, unless it's in a bar setting or something like that. And then you could have a couple openers, and it seems like the closer you get to the open, the less unheard of or the less popular the act. They're not going to put a huge act up and then a bunch of low profile openers and then the big band. They kind of step it up.
Yeah, of course.
But what I've found is, and I've been doing a bunch of gigs. We've done a few gigs at Sessions on the River with Chris Curry's crew. What a great place to hang out. Have you ever been there?
I haven't been there yet, but I've been seeing pictures of it.
Oh, dude, you gotta go. Even if you just go for an open mic, you'll have a track record. I know you got recordings down.
Yeah,
but it's nice to have something just off the floor that's boom. You just go up and you got a studio type recording, right?
Yeah.
So I've been doing a bunch of these shows, and a lot of them have been combined with political fundraisers, right? So all the acts that come out usually get a provincial tax receipt. They bill me $500 for their performance, and I pay them with a $500 tax receipt, which is worth about $375 in your tax return, even if you don't pay. So I usually combine it with, and I learned a couple things. One, it's nice to open with someone like the Perpetual Peace Project that's wholesome and kind of they want to bless the day.
Of course,
and then the other thing I learned is that the sweet spot is not at 11 o'clock.
No.
It's like 8,
yeah.
7:30. So whoever that band is.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. You got 40 people in the room, and then at 10:30 when Theater Crisp, the headliner, or Mice and the Hurricanes come, it seems that like people go home.
Yeah.
And even if you got if you got a real solid headliner, you shouldn't have that problem. But I just found for a guy that's getting older,
stop.
I don't want to be out late. Like if I'll go see a 7 o'clock show, but if it's 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm not leaving the house at that time anymore. My home is too comfortable. I don't need to go anywhere to get anything. And So that's why, we had a jam the other day. They started up this jam. It's like 9 to 11. I'm like, well, how about 7 to 10?
Yeah.
How about 7 to 11?
How about noon to 3? What are we doing? But
yeah.
no, I know what you mean. It's like.
So do you find that, like, I'd encourage you to look at opening as you're the first experience of that show.
Yeah.
Not that you're just the least experienced or the cheapest actor, the most blah, blah, blah. So I know you don't care so much. You just want to be on the ticket, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird looking back at it now because I don't often kind of look back at the stuff that I've done. But it's funny, though. It's funny just because, like, when I started, obviously, I'm at the very beginning of the bill. Nobody really knows who I am. Excuse me. But
people are sober.
Exactly. And I mean, with my music back then, it would kind of make sense because, it was, I would say the subject matter and everything, what I'm saying is still 100%, but I feel like the music I make now is a lot more energetic. So it's for the people that now that are, a few drinks in, they're looking for a good time. And if they were sober and they listen to it, they can get a message out of it. But if they're not listening to what I'm having to say, they can still dance, have fun. I just played at 12 Mile Lounge, like the old Pepper.
You can't go. You can't patronize that place. I hate to do this to you, but
you don't like it?
No, only because Phil got forced out by that guy, and it's just I can't support that place ever. No, not if it's under current ownership. Phil got a really bad deal in that place.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I didn't know about any of that.
The whole family.
Damn.
They had a solid lease there. I don't need to pour cold water in your story, but somebody was here the other day, and I kind of zipped it. I'm playing at what's it called?
12 Mile Lounge.
Yeah. Too bad. Well, at least they're doing live music. So what about that?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's been great because it's now I'm of age to even get into these places, which was a problem for years. But now it's great because I can go in and people are a few drinks in. They're just looking for a good time. So the last time I played there, it was with a bunch of different people. So like Aero Styles. It was like a Danny Alonso, D-Pax, Nick B, all those guys. And I was the last, like the main openers, which is great because everybody had a chance to get a few drinks in. And it was that perfect sweet spot before there was like a co-headlining and then there was the main headliner, which was, I think, Choom Gang, who, I got to meet them. They're super nice guys as well. I guess they're from the area. But it was that sweet spot and it was nice. And that's the thing. I'll kind of take whatever I can get, but that sweet spot is definitely where you want to be because especially like stuff like bars and clubs can go really late and audience do tend to leave if it's not like a huge act or anything. Right. But no, there's definitely the sweet spot, and I'm nice that I'm finally got to that area now where it's like I can now headline shows. Like I've been starting to headline shows, but I'm also can step back and take the opener spot and still hit that like target. So yeah, I mean, any spot's great. I'd still, if anybody's like, yo, can you take the bottom of the barrel? I'll take it because it's still a performance. Why not? But the sweet spot is definitely like the place you want to hit for.
So you're not too proud. It doesn't matter where you line up. You just put me on the bill, man.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be as high as possible, but just to get the name out there right now, I'll take anything and get. That's the thing. It's been great because I've been wanting to do as many venues as possible and as many shows as possible. And in the last... when I started out, I was getting maybe 2-3 shows a year because I'm waiting for My Son the Hurricane to come back in town and I could open for them because a lot of people don't want hip-hop acts at their places. A lot of people, there's now like the venues like the Warehouse are fantastic because they're a new kind of breath of fresh air into the whole venue game, I would say. But now it's like I've had 5 shows in the last 2 months and I've got 3 more lined up. Like things are finally starting to happen, and some of them are on the headliner, some of them on the bottom of the barrel. It doesn't really matter to me anymore just because I'm just trying to get my name out there as much as possible in different cities. So anything where people would see me, one eye, like 2 eyes on me is 2 people seeing it, right? So I'm fine with anything.
And what do you think's fresh about the Warehouse? Warehouse. There's no "the" there.
Yeah, it's just very, Warehouse Concert Hall. Yeah. I think it's fresh just because Eric, the owner, he's been in kind of the music game for a while, but I think he just kind of, I don't know, he has a way of just dealing with everything and letting people kind of do what they want to do. He's super open to everything. I remember when I had my first headliner show in December back there, and I was asking him, I'd never headlined a show, and I was asking him, yo, can we do like a video screen? Can we have this? And can we have an auto-tune mic? And he's like, yeah, do whatever. I played at venues that, some people are just like, hey, kid, just go up and do what you got to do, especially in Toronto. But here it's like I don't know, it seems like he's part of like the new revolution of new artists. If he's not even an artist, but the venue's not an artist either, but it's kind of the new landscape of music I think that's coming up, and he's just like super open. It's also just a great venue. Like it's
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you're talking about sound quality,
it's fantastic.
they got it nailed, man.
Yeah.
And their guys running the board are talented
Amazing.
as hell.
Yeah.
Man. And anytime I know somebody that's playing and they want to bring their own sound man in it, I'm like, dude, don't do it.
Yeah.
I get that you want to bring your own board guy in, your board op. But there's something to be said about trusting the guy that knows the room. The guy that built the room, the guy like bought the speakers and all the mixing devices and everything like that. So, yeah, that's one thing I really appreciate about Warehouses. I mean, it's simple. It's a square box, bars at the back, so you don't there's no distractions up front, and it's just a wall of music. And they got you can never have too many subs.
No.
They got the low end of that thing mastered.
Yeah.
Like it's
and even like the lighting is insane. I love the stage that is so high up. Like it's funny, you'll play shows and you're 3 feet off the ground to people, which is great, but this is like you could feel like you could stage dive if you wanted to, even though I probably wouldn't, but it's still cool just be like above everybody. You can see farther obviously now, and you can really see how many people are there, and the lighting, like everybody I've ever talked to is like, dude, the lighting there though, weirdly enough, it's just amazing. Like they're great with it.
Well, I think they've added the lights as they've come along.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the lights ever impressing me, but you know, and I've been there recently. We did Vaudeville was an event they had on there. ECT was doing a vaudeville event there, and I'm an audio guy, and so I always go back to the guy on the board. I'm like, dude, nice job.
Yeah, really though.
And I'm probably not the guy to walk up to him if he sucks. And says like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But like when I'm the guy at the back looking at the DJ and telling the board op, the DJ's trying to get your attention. Like,
yeah,
so you don't have to worry about that. There, these guys
they're professional, you know. And I've only met the sound guys a few times when I've played there, but they all seem like relatively young guys. Like they love what they do. They're passionate about it, and they're great at what they do. So it's always a pleasure. And then Eric's like a gem. Like he's just a great guy to work with. And I played there maybe 3 or 4 times now, and every time it's just he's super open to what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? He's just a great guy. I love the Warehouse, and that's the thing. I want to play there as much as possible. Like I don't have anything in the works right now for a tour, but when I ever kind of decide to do one, that's where I want to start and end it. 2 shows, just one, and come back and play the Warehouse because I love it there. It's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, speaking of music, how much you got out? How many albums do you have?
I have 2 mixtapes and 2 EPs, one every year for the last 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and where do we get it? Do we have to buy it, or can we stream some of it? Or
you can stream all of it. So
you're giving it away.
Giving it away,
okay.
Yeah. The first 2 mixtapes, because they're kind of like a lot of them are heavy sample based. So with Spotify and Apple Music, originally when I put them out, I tried having them on there, but there's a lot of problems with getting the samples cleared. So they're on SoundCloud.
I thought you made all your samples.
No.
Oh, okay.
So I used to.
You do make some samples, but sometimes you borrow them or sample.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they call it a sample, because you're taking it from someone else, right?
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of the producers that I know, they'll do sampling, and a lot of the time it's cleared, or a lot of the time it's royalty free stuff. But for example, like way back then, I wasn't really looking at that kind of stuff. I was like, I just want the music. I just want to do this. Because a lot of the artists I grew up on were doing that, and all their projects were on their website or SoundCloud or anything. So the first 2, A Moment in Time and Aesthetic Sound, are both on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And then my 2 EPs, there's no samples, there's nothing. Days of Summer and Out for the Night, those are both on Spotify, Apple Music, anything. Those are probably what people would know me most by, just because when I tell people to go to my music, when you say, check my SoundCloud, a lot of people are like, oh, okay, what? But it's like, here's my Spotify.
What do you
It's kind of like
you're an amateur.
Yeah, I mean, not that you're an amateur, but there's kind of been this whole movement of like SoundCloud rappers. Have you heard anything about that?
No.
So like, it's interesting because a lot of the SoundCloud rappers. So for example, like Lil Pump and Lil Peep and like Ski Mask, the Slump God, like all these different artists all kind of came up from SoundCloud, and then they kind of hit it big because they got popular off that. But it's kind of like And the great thing is they've all branched away from SoundCloud. They're kind of, you know, obviously doing their own things. They're all huge artists now. But the thing is with it is, like, they kind of get stereotyped as these SoundCloud rappers if they all have different colored dreads and they have these face tattoos and they're talking about all this trap and they're doing all this stuff, which I love. I love that kind of music, but I don't know. It's kind of become a thing now. If you're like, oh, I'm a SoundCloud rapper, it's kind of billed as a bad thing, which is weird because it shouldn't be. But it's just, I guess it really is. So when I tell people, you know, the main thing I tell people is go onto my Spotify, go onto my Apple Music, because I would say that those two projects are my best work anyway. But for the people that really want to, like, get into it and really see, like, the older stuff, like my very first stuff when I was 15 is, the SoundCloud. And I mean, the projects that are on Apple Music and on Spotify are on SoundCloud anyway. You can stream all of it at once. I hope one day, I know Drake just did this. He just re-released his mixtape from 2009, So Far Gone. And it was the 10-year anniversary a few days ago, and they just re-released it, and they had to clear all the samples. So I'd love, like, one day I could just, like, put those out online, and put them up. Because, like, I think there's a lot of good songs on there. There's a lot of kind of, like, blueprints for what I'm doing now. It's funny when you listen back to some of my older songs, you're like, oh, I definitely see why you're doing what you're doing now because you tried it on this project. Or so there's a lot of, like, groundwork laid in those. So yeah, hey, check it out if you want. SoundCloud, Everett Champion, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, everything. You know, try to get it to as many people.
Relentless pimp, self-pimping. So tell us about, like, how do you look at your music then? Like the maturation process from the early days. What was your music like? What were you singing about? What were you weak on? What did you have to improve on? And what have you? Tell us how you see your own work, because I know we're artists. Like somebody said to me the other day, Jimmy, you're an artist. I'm like, well, I play 3 chords. Yeah. I can keep time with my heel. Yeah. But if you look at it, this is an art form. Of course. You know, talking to people.
Of course. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
I'm so freaking critical. It's like before we went on air, I'm like, you know, all that 6:10 work I did when you can't see my face, and I had a producer, and you had to hit the mark for the commercials, and you didn't have to do anything to just be an on-air host. And there's a different style to radio because of the times that you got to hit. There's a cadence, and there's a kind of a real proper cadence. So welcome back. This is a Jim Fannon Show. I'm sitting with Everett Champion, and we're going to talk about this now. And on the way out, it's a different cadence. And I love that.
Exactly.
Because I'm a radio guy. I look at this stuff, and I'm like, I'm actually going to try and design the set to only focus on the guest.
Interesting.
You'll hear my voice, but you won't be able to see me. I'm wondering if I'll like it more. And when I listen to it on the podcast, I like a lot more. I don't have a negative body image. I can look at myself.
Yeah.
Well, the point I'm getting to is I'm my biggest critic. I bet you're probably the artists are usually the most self-critical, right?
I think you kind of have to be.
When you look at your work from a critical standpoint, talk to me about, you know, what you had when you were fresh and new, and that maybe has gone away now that you want to try and get back, and things that you've muted that didn't work for you that you're now perfected or mastered.
Of course. I mean, so it's interesting. Like I said, I put 4 projects out, so there's a lot of time and a lot of stuff to grow from, and a lot of different attempts and different things I wanted to do. So I think when I was first starting out, it was interesting because I was just trying to do as much as I possibly could and really show to really the people that I knew. Like, that was kind of it, right? It was like I didn't have a fan base at all, obviously, because I just started. So I was really like, okay, well, my friends and people, and especially I, have to like this. So I was making music that was very similar to, like, what other artists that I was listening to. Like, the first person that comes to mind is, like, Hoodie Allen. I don't know if you ever listened to him. So he's a fantastic artist. He's still doing amazing stuff now. But when I started listening to him when I was, like, 13, 14, was all sample-based and kind of, like, fun but interesting songs. And I think that's what I really wanted to do. So my first project, I was like, it was 12 songs. Every song was supposed to be, every album I have has like a theme to it. So this one was like, it was called A Moment in Time, and it was all around like keeping in time, and there was 12 songs, 12 numbers around the clock. Every song was totally different from everything else. And I was really just trying to see like what styles that I like. So there was like a super trap song, there was like a love song, there was a heartbreak, there was just me rapping for 6 minutes. I was like, let's just try and find what I like. And then going into my second project, Aesthetic Sound, was like, let's kind of do this on a more cohesive scale. Let's bring it up to 16 songs. Let's, you know, take the elements that I liked from my older stuff, which is funny because it was older stuff like 6 months before I put out, you know, I'm like, all right, the old stuff was cool, but what are we doing now? It's like, it literally
stuff.
just
when I was younger, 6 months ago.
Yeah, it just came out. But I was like, okay, what are we doing now? So there's definitely stems of a moment in time into Aesthetic Sound. And then every project just kind of been like taking what I know and then improving on it and kind of getting the stuff that I know I'm not good at, or the stuff that I wouldn't say I'm not good at, but the stuff that I need work on, improving that work. So going into Aesthetic Sound, I was like, you know, I'd love to do a little bit more singing. I'd like to do a lot more energetic samples. I'd like to like bring this up to a new level. Like A Moment in Time was like the blueprint. This is like building the house. So Aesthetic Sound I thought was really cool. There was a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of work that could have been done. Even listening back to it, I'm like, oof, like why did I say that, or why did I do that?
Really?
But I still like, yeah, like I mean,
you look at your old stuff and you kind of makes you cringe a little bit.
It's weird. It's like, I wouldn't say I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I hate it, turn it off, it's so garbage. I'm like, no, it's great, because I said it. It's funny. I said it on my very first project. It's like, I make music for me, but I release it for you. It's like because I listen to my stuff a lot, which is funny. Like, it's definitely like a narcissistic thing, but I love listening to my own stuff because like I make music that I would want to listen to, and it's all based around what I'm listening to at that time. So even like the EPs, like Days of Summer and Out for the Night, were completely tone shifts from Aesthetic Sound, but there was definitely elements brought in from that. So when I did Days of Summer, which is like 7 songs, it features, I would say, my biggest song, Mamacita, but it's got like all these summer, there's waves, there's all this pop singing, there's all this stuff, and I really took elements from other songs that are on other projects that were like the summery kind of vibe, and I was like, I figured the EPs would be kind of like almost like a little experiments. Like, let's do one project all of just like summer and love and drinking and having fun. And then I did Out for the Night, which was released last year in 2018, which was like, okay, I want to maybe let's do some stuff that's like more trap stuff. Let me kind of talk about some more stuff that's like all at a house party. So I would say like lyrically everything's improved obviously as I've gone on. There's lines that I look back and I'm like, oh god, why did I say that? But in the whole tone of the song, I'm like, I love this song, but there's a few things I want to pick up on. So lyrically I'd say I'm at the best I've ever been, and that's not like a narcissistic thing. I just know like I'm as best as I've ever been now. Making songs, I think there's definitely a huge improvement. I would say like the new stuff that I'm doing now that's not really out yet is like there's stems of the old stuff in it. There always will be. Like, I'm never gonna be, yo, I'm gonna get tattoos. Like, I love to get tattoos, but I'm not gonna get face tats, and I'm not gonna be rapping about I got the bag, I got this, because I don't. Like, I'm 19, I don't have money yet. Like, I'm not. So there's always gonna be like the most brutally honest stuff, and I think that's another thing that actually I think is in the most honest way in the music now is like the first stuff I was doing. Everything I've ever said on a song has been honest. Like, I'm never like, I got the money. Like, maybe at that time I just got paid, so I was like, I got money right now. But like, there's
my
always
wallet's full.
My wallet's full of tens right now. But
singles.
Yeah, I just got some toonies lined up. But no, I think it's like there's definitely, I don't know, there's definitely a lot of stuff that's staying with me, especially the honesty. Like this new music. So I'm working on my 5th project right now. It's gonna be the debut album. I haven't really given a lot of details about it, but I've been teasing it on social media a lot. But what I tried to do was like, let's be as brutally honest with people as possible. Because if I'm going to put something out that people are finally going to pay for and it's going to be like a real project, I want to give people like something to listen to. Like, I don't want to just be something you could get from anybody else. So every single song, I remember I sat down in my dorm in Toronto, because I'm going to school in Toronto, and would just be like, okay, here's a situation that happened to me, and I made every single song about a girl, a different girl that I met, and there's not one song on the project that's about the same girl.
Is this how you're trying to attract women? Or when
it
you're
works.
done with
No,
them,
kidding,
you're right about
I'm kidding, it doesn't. But what I was
you're
like...
done already a song about you.
But like, what I was thinking was like, let's write the exact scenario, how it happened, and challenge myself to make it rhyme and make it a story that people would A, find relatable, or B, find interesting. Like, damn, that happened to him. Like, oh, that didn't happen to me. Or it's, man,
I've been there.
I've been exactly there. I know exactly what that's like. I love this song because it's speaking to me.
When I start saying I've been there, when I'm listening to an 18-year-old's music,
Yeah.
19-year-old,
You're way back. I'm kidding.
This kid struggles just like I do, man.
We all do. I mean, that's why I think like
Hallelujah.
artists like Billie Eilish do so well. If you ever heard her, she's like, what, 16, and she's making this amazing music that everybody's like, I feel that, and I'm like, she's just as high school
because of the vulnerability and the honesty of just
Totally.
putting it all out there.
Totally, and I think that's why people.
Do you think you have to have a certain level of I don't give a fuck to put that out there, or do you put it out there with knowing, hey, this is really opening my heart for knives and arrows to fly?
I think it all depends on the song. I think it's like there's definitely an attitude that you have to be able to put out your like brutally honest truth. Like there has to be some sort of I don't give a fuck to it, right? Like, but I think if you kind of get to the scale where you're like, you know what, I don't really care anymore, but at the same time, like I want people to know what's up and not just be like, here's my story, you better listen to it. It's kind of like, hey, here's my story, but like take a second and does it mean anything to you? And that's mainly what I've been trying to do, and it links back to what I'm doing. Like I was always honest on every project I've ever been on, but this one's like straight just honesty. And it's funny because I think that's where the best stuff comes out of. Like there's people that are going to listen to it and be like, I'm telling a story the moment it happened to the moment it ended, and nothing is wrong, nothing is fake, and people are going to be like, damn, that happened to me. And it's weird because it's so real. I'm not tailoring it to anybody, but it's such a personal thing that if people listen to it and they feel, man, that happened to me, it's like, what are the odds that this thing is going to happen to you? And that's what's so great about music is like you don't really know it's a story that other people could get until they tell you they've got that story, you know? So
wow, that's fascinating. So what are you hardest on yourself about?
The hardest thing,
like most critical and probably unnecessarily too, right?
yeah, a little bit. I mean, my main thing is that I want people to remember me as one of the hardest working artists, and not just like I want to be a great rapper, because I don't want to be the next Drake. I don't want to be the next Jay-Z. I want to be the first Everett Champion. Like I want people to look back and be like, man, you know what? Yeah, I did this music, but wow, he had a lot of stuff going on. Like there was a lot of detail. There was so much stuff. So I think the main thing is that like, you know, that's up to me to kind of figure out and how people are going to remember that. But the thing people care about the most is the music. So I think the thing I'm most hardest about myself is writing verses, like writing stuff. It's like, yeah, I could write a verse right now and it'd be like, okay, I didn't have any time, but like I think the hardest thing about it is taking my time and really being like, this is what I want people to hear, and that's how I want it to happen. Like anybody could freestyle, anybody could write something down, but I think I'm most hard about myself is making every verse count, because that one verse, that one song could be the song that gets you there. Like I forget who told me it. It might have been Dano years ago, but I think someone told me it was like, act like every single song is the one that's going to make it, because you know, it could be. You never know. I could blow up off a song that I put out when I was 15. Someone could discover it, and that's it. So I think I'm most hard about myself is putting in that effort and doing it. Because like some songs you go back and you're like, what was I thinking? Like what, you know what I mean? So with making this album, is my main thing was like I'd write a song at night. Like I only wrote songs at night for some reasons because I like doing that. And in the morning I'd go back, and if I was like, this is still a good song, we're keeping it. If it's not, it's like tear it apart, because I don't want people to see it if it's not the best thing I've ever done. You know what I mean? And that's maybe that's a narcissistic thing, but
okay, I'm going to stop you with the narcissistic thing. I want to reset you because I think when we talked about self-created lies earlier before we started the tape rolling, right? The tape rolling, our recording devices. We don't have a VCR. We're not rolling tape.
I wish. That'd be kind of cool.
Okay. I don't believe it's narcissistic to listen to your own product. You have to listen to your own product, especially if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You listen to it because you're like, oh, shit, I didn't hear that drop.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. I won't do that next time.
Exactly.
Or I've listened to this 50 times, and for the first time, I'm hearing that pause and how really that set up the next verse.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't believe, and I think we all have narcissistic tendencies, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sure you're not referring to yourself as narcissistic, but it's strange how when you get a track in your mind and you start saying that's the third time you've said it now. So it's just written. This is how I love people.
Of course,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I think I can help sometimes because it's like bing. The first time I heard it, second time. Oh, okay, 3 times now. That's too much.
Yeah.
I listen to I have everything every call that I've done to a radio station is recorded somewhere. It's not out there for other people to listen to. It's for me.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I get off the air, I want to listen to it to hear what I could do better, or where I screwed up, or if I was funny, and it's not part of entertainment because I don't entertain myself very often. Sometimes I really, I'm like, whoa, you know, like, you know, and you look at somebody, you go, that's hilarious. Sometimes you hit it and you go, wow, that's, you know, if I could do that every time.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's narcissistic to listen to your own stuff because you have to be a critic.
That's true.
What's the second point you said something about narcissism? It flew out of my mind now.
I'm not sure.
That's the third time. But yeah, I think that we're all kind of on the spectrum somewhere.
Of course.
Right?
I think
and
you
now
have
with
to
Trump
be.
in office, we know what narcissism is all about. Even
There
though,
it
like,
goes.
I mean, Trump is, if nothing else, he's fresh because we've never had a politician that like
Really
this
say
guy.
like
You know,
yeah, for sure. For
so
sure.
if nothing else, and I never paid attention to American politics until Trump. Now I can't look away.
Yeah.
Now I'm really educated on Nancy Pelosi and OAC or AOC or whatever they are, and now I'm really looking at it. And I wouldn't have voted for Trump. I'm not a Trump fan.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have voted for Hillary either. But so I think it's interesting those tracks.
Yeah, of course.
It'll come back to me. The other instance that you
it
made
does.
in reference to narcissistic, because I think we're all on the spectrum somewhere, and we really know what it looks like now. But narcissists don't care about anybody but themselves.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just don't want you to get in the habit of putting yourself in that camp.
Oh, I appreciate that though. Yeah. Maybe that's what the one thing that I'm too hard on myself on is that I know right now that I'm the best rapper alive because I have to know that. Like, I'm not saying that I'm like, yo, I'm better than everybody else, but to go up on stage and to do what I do, I need to believe that I'm the best it's ever been.
Interesting.
You know? So that's where maybe it comes in where I'm like, oh, but
that
I shouldn't think that.
narcissistic mentality.
Exactly.
But
you kind of have to.
You gotta have
You
that
know,
game,
when I work on a song and I'm like, this is the best song ever made, I kind of have to think that. Like,
Cool.
obviously, I'm like, oh well, there's songs that I wish I would have wrote, but if you go in like, this was okay, then what are you doing? Like, you need to believe that everything you do is the best you've ever done, because then you're gonna keep making the best things you've ever done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we've really gone on a deep dive, and I want to get into Dano and what his mentoring has meant to you.
Yeah, of course.
Whether he knows it or not, he's kind of mentored me. Too. Even if it's just a short conversation outside of my office talking about sobriety.
Yeah.
I had him on a few weeks ago. He lit the view count up, which didn't surprise me at all because he's got a lot of fans and stuff like that. I'm so proud of that fan or that band. I've been a fan. I like to say I've been on your jock since the beginning, kid. And since you too. Top. I've been pimping you since the beginning too.
Yeah,
so
I really appreciate
that. I love that idea that you brought forward, and it reminds me, like, when I'm sitting here with you, like it could be Jay-Z, it could be Gary Vee, it could be Dan O'Shea, it could be yourself. Like, to me, it's just like, I don't get starstruck so much.
Yeah.
But it's almost like I've got you here because I believe that you are that star now.
Yeah, thank you.
And also, even though we're all on the journey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hurricanes blown up in the last 5 years. And I think it would be interesting if you come back in 15 or 20 years when you are rolling up in a limo.
Yeah.
and the studio's a little bit different, and I can say, I was your boy back then. Yeah. And we'll still be, hopefully you'll still have the same head on your shoulder and
hopefully.
Stuff like that. So
Yeah.
So
I'd love to come back.
appreciate that take that you brought up, because I think I look at it like I treat you all like rock stars, and that if you're not hitting it the way you want to be, that you will be soon, and that when you do, you'll be back.
Yeah.
You know, to talk, even though when you're driving up and you got handlers and at some point I'm going to call you and go, yeah, Jimmy, you really need to get a hold of my manager for this.
Yeah. One day I get a manager. One day. But no, I'm just kidding with you.
So
I love a manager.
Now that we talked about and we'll get back to Dano in a little bit, but I want to do a kind of a deep dive, because I don't really know you outside of meeting you a couple times. I know your dad, but and I don't know how long you can freestyle on who you are, but like I come up with questions like, I want to know, do you drink? Do you party? Do you puff? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have faith?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like who's Everett Champion?
Fire away. You ask me a question, I'll give you an answer.
Like just start from wherever you want and tell me, you know, using those kind of as a starting point of what you're up to. Because I know this whole thing, you're not supposed to say you got a girlfriend if you're an artist, because
I don't care.
then you'll never find one.
Yeah, no.
Every girl wants to know you're single, or they won't buy your record.
Man, no, I'm lucky enough to have a great girlfriend right now, which is great. It's funny because we were talking about it recently, where it's like it was years of like the lonely writer writing songs about, man, I wish I had this girl. This girl broke my heart, and then it's finally like I got a good girl, and it's like I can write some love songs now. Like it's great. So I am happily in a relationship right now. So sorry, ladies. I'm kidding. There's no ladies that are interested in me, but the one that matters is all that matters to me. So, yeah. Well, so for anybody that doesn't really know, then I guess. So my name's Everett Champion. I'm right from St. Catharines. I was born in Hamilton and then came right here. But I've been making music since I was 13. Again, right. The reason I started making music is because I had a girlfriend when I was like grade 7 or something, so not really a girlfriend, but I was like, oh, I want to express my love for you. How am I going to do this? So I remember I started writing poems, and I was like, well, this is kind of cool. And my friends were one day were like, yo, let's freestyle, let's put on some Mac Miller, R.I.P. Mac Miller beats. And I was like, cool, let's do that. And they were like, yo, what we're going to do is like everybody take 15 minutes, we're going to play a beat, and then come back and just write like a verse and come back and we'll record it. And I was like, cool. So I was like, well, I wrote poems. I was like, I guess I can do this. And it's like the most awful verse I've ever written, but it was like what I started doing. And we came back in and we just put the beat on, had somebody recording on their phone. This was like, 2012, 2013. And everybody rapped the verse, and then I went and I rapped mine, and they were like, did you write that? And I was like, yeah, no, didn't you guys write yours? And they're like, oh, no, we all copied ours from like Wiz Khalifa songs, like, but you wrote yours. I'm like, yeah, I thought that's what we were doing. And they're like, no, but like that's good, like you should keep doing that. So I was like, okay. So I started writing.
Right off the bat you had positive reinforcement,
which is amazing. Yeah. But I guess to get away from the music for a sec, so I'm 19, birthday was in December. I go to Ryerson for media production. I'm in my second year. I'm loving it. It's great.
Holy Cross guy?
St. Francis.
St. Francis. Okay,
yeah, right. So that was also a great place to be. I met a lot of great friends I still have now. I'm in Toronto for school. I'm making music as much as I can. I'm going for media production, so I'm doing audio work. I'm doing video work, graphic art. So I'm kind of doing as much stuff as I possibly can, and at the same time recording music. I'm trying to think some other questions. I party a lot. I would say I don't party a lot. That's the thing. I party with only people that I know. Like I remember in high school even they'd be like, yo, we're going to this party and it's like this guy, like we're going, and I'd be like, Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of like partying. I only really party if it's people that I'm like super cool with and like hanging out. I don't smoke at all, like anything. Just for personal reasons. I'm like, I'm good. I don't know. Nothing. It's not anything too drawing to me. But I drink here and there. I like whiskey a lot. I guess that's maybe some of the reason why I'm like an old soul. Like, I like cigars. I like whiskey. I like Sinatra. Like, I like that kind of stuff.
Cool.
But yeah,
what's your whiskey?
Just Jack Daniels.
JD.
Classic. JD's classic.
That's Tennessee whiskey. That ain't whiskey.
It's not bad. Fireball's good too, though.
Too much sugar.
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you drink? JD straight or?
JD straight or like Jack and Coke. Just simple stuff. Like, yeah. I don't know, I'm not one of those guys that's like going crazy. Like, I like
single malt scotch and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to go to like a whiskey and like cigar club one day. Like, I think that'd be dope. But I don't know, I kind of keep everything pretty simple. Like, I only drink like Coronas and Kronenberg, like 1664. Light beers. Yeah. I don't know. I love having fun. Obviously, I made a whole album about being at a party, but at the same time, I'm like, I like hanging out, but I'd rather be doing work. As like weird as that sounds, like I'd love to just be like, I'd rather be at the party, or I'd rather be at home with my friends hanging out than at some big party. Like, I'm in university now, so it's like, oh, these big parties. Like, I mean, it's nice because at Ryerson, we're in the city, so there's no parties at all. You'd think there would be condo parties, like nothing. And maybe it's because I don't involve myself with that scene. But I mean, even last year, me and my friends, we'd go to like a few of the UFT frats, and I'd walk in and I'd be like, this is great, this is cool, but like, I can only be here for an hour. Like, I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to pass out here and wake up tomorrow morning. I got stuff to do in the morning. Like, I got a life to live, I was not knocking anybody that likes to party. All my friends, like, we love having a good time, but I don't know. I turned 19 in December and haven't been to a bar yet. I just bought beer for the first time like 2 weeks ago because we were having like a potluck at my house. Like, I don't know. I'm not like a crazy party guy, which is funny because I'm sure people that are listening to this may have heard my last project, Out for the Night, which is all takes place at a house party. And I'm like, I'm drinking this, I'm doing this, which to an extent is true when I'm at a comfortable setting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Right now, I'm the happiest I've ever been, which is weird. I'm only 19, so there's not a lot to build on from that. But no, I'm happy. I'm making the best music I've ever made. I have great friends. I don't live too far from home where I'm homesick all the time. I can come home on the weekends, no problem. Got a great girlfriend. My family's doing well. So yeah, everything's great right now, and it's just trying to, make the name more public, get the brand out there more, and then, when I start releasing the singles for the album, and I want people to be ready for them. So, yeah, that's me.
Cool. So, what do you do for money?
I work. So I work at the Outlet Mall. I worked at Saks Off 5th. So I've worked there since I was 16. I also worked for Bell. Like, I worked for 105.7. I worked for Easy Rock. I worked for Hits FM during the summer as like a I forget what the exact name was, but I'd go
runner, promotions guy.
Exactly. So I'd go to events. We'd set up the tent, and I'd be there for 6 hours, handing out stuff, talking to people, trying to get the brand known.
Great job for a guy like you.
Yeah, it was great. It was good money. It was great hours. It was it was nice because I got to go to all these festivals and all these events where I was like, oh, next year I want to play here. Write it down. Great. Now I know where I want to. Now I know these festivals that I probably didn't know of before. But yeah, I'm always working, like trying to, there's, as you know, and I'm sure a lot of people have said, there's not a lot of money in streams for music. Like, there's a little bit coming in, which is nice, but it's mainly shows, and then just straight work is not as like a music thing. But I've been playing a lot more shows lately, which has been nice. So money's coming in from there. But yeah, yeah.
So you got to have a real job to do what you love for a passion.
Which is great because I love the jobs that I work when I'm not doing music, and then if I can make money from music like a little bit I am now from shows and streams, it's like great. Let's even those up, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, everything's cool. It's like
you're in a good place.
In a good place, yeah.
Awesome.
It's nice. I'm off drinking like pop and stuff, so I'm just drinking water, keeping healthy. Got to get that summer bod. So
that sugar is no good, man.
It's not good,
Yeah, and you can drop 20 pounds. I dropped 20 pounds in just a matter of weeks just by going on no carbs, no sugar.
Congrats, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, I'm off it now, but I need to get back to it because when you got to be prepared to eat just meat and cheese and greens and no starch, no bread.
Yeah.
Like bread is like a butter delivery service for me.
Yeah. I feel that. Being Italian, I'm like, where's the bread? Where's the olive oil and the vinegar? What are we doing,
Italian. So who's Italian in your family?
My mom's side's Italian.
Oh, okay.
So I'm half Italian.
I don't think I've met your mother.
I don't know if you have. Terry Champion.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know if you met her or not, but yeah. So I'm half Italian and then half British, which is weird because it's obviously not a country, but it's
well, usually British means you're like a Heinz 57, all kinds of white things.
Yeah, exactly. Like my dad's side is like one grandparents from like England, Scotland, Ireland, they're from all over. So
German.
Yeah, half Italian, half British.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you got some roots.
Some roots. I'm trying to put the Italian more into like my character. Like that's why I like Sinatra. I love Frank Sinatra. Like I love that. I love whiskey
that era
and cigars.
Was awesome.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Even though it's kind of like, and I think that's the other thing you refer to, like I'm writing the best music of my life right now. That's not a narcissistic thing to say because you expect to be like you don't expect to be good and then you hit a valley and then you get good again and then you're garbage again and stuff like that. It's similarly, we've never been at a better time to live. Like, I mean, I'd love to grow up. I'd love to walk with Jesus back in the day, but come on.
Throwback.
I love my cell phones. It was great in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, and we all had those. But, like, for people that are bitching about what pronouns they want to use, like, are you kidding? Like this is what you got to be worried about. This is the best time.
Yeah, we're definitely in like a great time right now.
Well, it's only getting better.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we've come out of some really bad stuff, some war and slavery and just, we treated people and just racism and stuff like that. We're better than we've ever been right now. And you guys time to complain about this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like,
if you went out your door and you had to worry about the Black Plague, that would suck.
Time. Yeah.
So yeah, I think similarly, when you say, "Hey, I'm writing the best music I've ever written," that is that's the truth. True.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. I think we're at like a great time. Obviously, there's still a lot of problems going on. Like there's a lot of like shitty things happening.
Mm-hmm. We got a long way to go, but we've come a long way in only 50 or 60 years. I mean, it hasn't been that long. We've been.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time right now, at least, to be a teenager, just because it's nice to see. It's weird. It's like a lot of people live through all the bad shit, you know what I mean? Like all the wars and all this horrible stuff that's gone on, which is nice because it's not nice that people that live through that, but it's nice because now we've kind of got the aftermath of what's happening, and there's a lot of problems that we as like teenagers and as youth that we have to fix. Like the earth is destroyed, so we're working on that. We're trying to fix that. There's still a lot of problems with, police in the States and racism and a lot of shit, but it's at a good time now where people can, hopefully we can figure out these problems. Like they've happened for so long. It's like, the generation before us was, it seemed like now we're the generation that's like, okay, can we just like put all that shit aside? Like, can we fix the problems that we have? Like the earth is fucking dying. People are getting killed. Like teenagers, black teens are getting killed. There's a lot of things happening.
Okay, since you brought this up, I want to kind of give you my take on it.
Yeah,
go for it. I don't want to deep dive into political stuff.
Oh, me
I
neither.
respect you being an artist and stuff like this, but since you threw it out there, I will agree with you. This is the best place that we've ever been.
Of course,
we're more progressive than we ever have been.
Of course.
For me, what I'm struggling with right now is freedom of speech and truth.
Okay.
And your truth and my truth is not truth. There's truth and there's opinion. So my opinion or whatever. But, when Oprah comes out and says, speak your truth. No, your truth is called an opinion. And I love that you brought up there's some really shitty things going on.
Yeah,
right
of course.
Now. So you have to balance that with we've come a long
for
way,
sure. Yeah.
But there's still this injustice.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things I rally against, and these are these false narratives that the media is really bad for perpetuating. And a lot of Hollywood stars are bad for perpetuating. And when you're sitting on your couch and Chris Rock comes up and says, white cops are killing black kids.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't. It's not true. Like he said this on his latest, dropping N-bombs like crazy. I mean, back in, like I went to school with all Italian Catholic school with Italian guys. I mean, the racist slur on the playground was your go-to.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not hurtful.
Yeah.
It was kind of like loving teasing. And so one of the things I'm rallying against most lately is these false narratives that have come out. And I want to balance. We've never been in a better place with, some rapists get away with it. It's not cool. That doesn't mean we live in a rape culture. This gender pay gap, it's explainable. Women go out of the workforce for a long time to have babies. Most women are driven like men are. Right. I say most women because, stereotypes are there for a reason because they're pretty accurate. Men are delusionally obsessed with success and having a better car than their buddy next door. They don't compete with women very often. But men are now saying, I identify as a woman, and going into a UFC cage and beating the shit out of a woman. And he's still a man. I mean, and here's the thing. I don't want to get too deep on this, and I'll let you say your piece on it.
Go for it.
The facts don't bear out. Hey, we've got racism. It happens all the time. It happens a lot less than it used to. We're getting better at it. We still got a long way to go. But this Black Lives Matter, that was created on the lie, and I'll say this, that white cops are killing black kids indiscriminately. Yeah. It's not true. Yes, does it happen? And when it happens, we're insane about, like, that's not right. But it's just like the facts, the FBI stats do not bear it out. Like, what the facts bear out are black people are killing black people in huge numbers, not white cops, not white people. Like, so if you're going to start Black Lives Matter, of course they do. But if you're going to start a movement based on white cops are killing black people, and like you have a better shot at getting shot as a white person by a white cop than a black person does by a white cop. It just is not happening. So, I'm really sensitive to. We've come a long way. We got a long way to go. People still get away with, like I said, rapists fall through the cracks. They get weak sentences, but it doesn't mean we tolerate rape. We don't live in a rape culture. Like, you want to see a rape culture? Go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it's okay to rape your wife or kill her.
Yeah.
In an honor killing. And you come to North America and you think, no, we take racism pretty seriously. We take rape pretty seriously. And, I'm just a little sensitive to this idea. Like, we've got a long way to go. But telling the media and stars going out and perpetuating lies that actually are easy to get behind. Yeah, that black kid, he didn't have a gun. He turned his back, and the white cop shot him in the back. Hey, shit happens. I'm not explaining that away.
Yeah.
Like, bad things happen.
Yeah.
But if you look at the stats on murder, it does not bear out the facts that white cops are shooting black kids. I think it's,
and I appreciate you stating your opinion totally. I think it's more, it's not that it's like such a black and white issue that it's like white cops are killing black kids. It's that like black kids are getting fucking killed everywhere, and so are white kids, and so are things. But there's school shootings. There's all these bad things happening. And I think the whole, like, Black Lives Matter, of course they do, and I think it's not such like an issue where it's like Black Lives Matter equal, we need to stop white cops killing black kids. Black Lives Matter because black people are as equal as we are, and it doesn't matter that it's a white cop killing a black kid. It could be a black cop killing a black kid. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that, like,
too many people are getting killed.
Two people are getting killed, and
especially in the States.
Yeah, but that's the thing in the States, but it also happens here. But it's not as like a big issue here. It's still a huge issue. It's just the occurrences aren't as big here.
Well, there's not as many of them, despite the fact that we have so many guns in Canada.
Yeah, we do. But at the same time, you can go to like a liquor store in the States and get a gun. Like, that's the crazy thing about it, right? Like,
and you open a bank account, they give you a shotgun as a gift.
Like that's what I mean. It's like we're at a great time now because I think we've come a long way from where we are, definitely. But we're at a great time now because we've realized what the hell has been happening. Like, the generations before us, and I don't mean to isolate you and your generation, but it's like,
don't ever say that again. Yeah, I'm your generation,
my generation. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, years before us, like, fucked up the world, and it's like, great, thanks guys, like, putting it in our lap. And it's like, yeah, there's huge problems, and it's like, I don't know, for me, I'm one of those people that, obviously, I'm some white Italian kid in a black culture of hip-hop. Like, that's, people may look at me being like, what are you talking about politics, and what are you talking about this stuff? But it's like, black people are getting killed, and that needs to stop. The earth needs to be saved, and at the same time, like, just giving my opinion about it, like, I'm totally with, do whatever you want to do. Believe, if you want to identify as whatever, like, do it. Like, I think there's so much criticism on people that you have to be this way, you have to think this way, and you have to do this. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, who cares? It's like, you know what I mean?
Who cares what you call yourself, but
yeah, it's like, at
some point, truth has to enter into the equation. I mean, if you say, okay, I'm gonna what do they call it? I'm going to be a female from now on.
Yeah, of course. Transition.
Yeah, transition. That's what I'm looking for. I have no problem calling you she or your new name or something like that. But when it comes down to it, when you get rolled into an emergency room and the doctor says, what's your biological sex?
Yeah.
You better damn well give them the one you were born with, or you might not get the right treatment. Like, the fact is that you can't actually, even if you carve everything off and install new pieces, it doesn't make you a woman. And this is like what's her name? Megan Murphy. She says, well, this is a man. Just because she's transitioned to a woman and gone through all the therapy and stuff, like, he's still a guy. Like, every cell in his body. Now, I'm not going to, I can't imagine what gender dysmorphia must be to like 99.7% of the people look down at their junk and say, yeah, I'm good with that, whether they're gay or straight. Yeah. There's very, very small number of people that don't. Now, I can't ever get with how that must be mentally.
Yeah. Of course.
And I would never say to somebody, "Oh no, you can't express yourself that way."
Yeah.
But again, if we're having a factual conversation, or you're getting rolled into an emergency room, and your life is on the line, they got to know. And when you die, your bones will tell you what sex you were. You know what I mean? So I find it an interesting conversation, but I find that as a broadcaster, as a guy that talks to politicians and artists, that if I don't speak truth, and that might only be what I think is truth, or there must be some opinion in there. Like, I'm a man. That's true. Like, I mean, you. Like
not exactly what you believe. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. But just if I believed that I was a woman, wouldn't make the fact that I was a man.
Yeah.
False,
I mean, I think so that's the thing. It's like a sensitive subject,
right? You've got to be
right?
balanced with facts, you know?
I mean, that's the thing. I don't really have a statement on that just because, like, obviously, I'm cool with what I am. I'm happy. I know what I am. But for people that don't, like, it's definitely, like, a hard thing to go through.
Can't imagine.
And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't have a place to say on it just because it's like I have no idea what that kind of stuff is
you
like.
Can't speak
and it's
to
like
being raped if you've never been raped. You can't speak about being pregnant if you've never been pregnant.
Yeah. So it's hard to kind of get into that. But at the same time, I get people believe what they want to believe, and it's like I don't know. I feel like we live in a world where people are just too opinionated about some things. I'm not saying you are at all. Don't get that the wrong way.
I am by a long stretch. I am, and I think this is it's interesting that you talk about the Earth melting and that we're destroying the Earth. I think there is some truth there. Hey, I ran 10 elections as a Green Party candidate.
I know, yeah.
Like I come from a long line. Like 1993 was my first election. I was 24 years old, and I fell in line with the left. The left's, so a little bit of socialism, public power, woman's right to choose, and I just fell in line with that because I was doing a job.
Yeah,
and I wanted to do that. I wanted to represent the party fairly, and I think I had pretty good success for that. Like even while and the Green Party's in a much better place now. Not just because of me, but I did my part. I was one of the 50 candidates that kept the party alive in 1993. Because if we didn't run 50 candidates, the party would have been dissolved.
Right.
And I agree with you on we need to do something. But now, 2 minutes ago, there was 5 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
Now there's almost 8.
Yeah.
And we said we couldn't do more than 6.
Yeah.
and tomorrow there'll be 9.
Yeah.
And we're going, and we're still here. What do you know? The polar caps are melting. Al Gore told us years ago that by 2020, Florida would be underwater.
Yeah.
Now, Al Gore's not a scientist, but this is the scare tactics that they've all kind of led us to believe. And so I came out very socialist. Not very socialist, but kind of left-leaning tendencies. Cool. Medicare, power, police. There's certain things you need to keep in house that the government needs to run. And now that I'm getting older, they say when you're younger, you vote left because you vote with your heart. And you want the world to be a better place. As you get older and you mature, you become more conservative and right-wing because you vote with your head. It's like, well, you're young and stupid, you vote this way.
Yeah.
And when you're old and wise, you vote this way.
Yeah. And I think it's like, I don't know, it's just like, because it's hard because, I get it because it's like, oh, you young people, you want to do this. And it's like, yeah, of course we do. Because at the same time, it's like, great. Like the older generation, it's like, oh, you kids, you'll get it. But it's like, yeah, but when 20 years, when not at all you, but I'm saying like an older generation, like in 20 years when you guys are in like a nursing home, we're the ones picking up trash still. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's like,
so you really feel like we did it to you guys. Like you're
not that you did it to us. I'm not.
Well, you are cleaning up our mess for a certain extent.
Yeah.
And prior generations all the way down. Like I'm cleaning somebody else's mess up too.
Oh,
probably.
Of course. Like everybody's continually cleaning up. That's just why I'm like, people are like, oh, just but it's fact. Is this? It's like okay, but you fucked it up for us. So let us fix it first, and then we'll talk about where we're going from there. So, and that's with a lot of things. It's the young people we're the ones dealing with all this shit, and I get we don't know, we're just kids, but at the same time, like, yeah, we're kids, we're the next generation that's going to be here.
You're the future.
So let's fix the things now while we are empowered to do it, because when we're 60 going, oh, it's the kids' problem. We don't want to be that generation, because we've seen what happens after generations of people, people going, I'll litter, I don't care, I'll let the kids deal with it. hey, we're the kids now. Let's fix it. You know,
if I didn't litter, those guys wouldn't have jobs picking that stuff up. That's the
It's-
worst.
it's a
Here's
stupid-
my cigarette butt goes.
it's a stupid cycle that I
Yeah.
think us as teens and young people and as a generation, like a lot of things, we're just like, we're sick of it. Like, who cares? Let's just
Cool.
fix it and let's go. But it's a lot
Hard
of things.
segue.
It's all good though.
Who do you listen to for inspiration? Who you picking up?
Who am I listening to right now for inspiration?
Like, do you listen to the daily vlogs or whatever of any, like, I used to, Tony Robbins was a guy that, I've got a few religious men that I listen to once in a while, because this new way of selling religion is such a soft sell. It's like Tony Robbins on stage, and then they bring it back to a scripture really gently. It's not like, God, God, God,
Yeah.
God. And then lately, I'm so fucking cranked on Gary Vee.
He's a cool guy. He's a nice guy.
He is nice and the most generous. Like, lately, this is my thing, and I'll just say what my thing is before you roll. I'm watching his 4-hour vlog of the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's dope.
Like, he's just walking through Radio Row, Media Row, whatever they call it, and everyone, DDP comes up to him, Diamond Dallas Page. I don't know if you know, he's an old wrestler.
Yeah.
He got Jake the Snake clean at his house. A great movie, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. If you've never seen it, check it out.
I'll check it out.
There's just DDP coming up to him, and everyone, hey Gary, hey, how are you? So nice to meet you. And he's like, what's your name? He was getting everyone's name, and of course everyone wants a selfie. And I watched this for about, it's a 4-hour vlog. I watched it for about an hour and a half, and I couldn't put it down. Yeah. It's like 3 a.m. I gotta go. I'm doing video directing at church. I got to be up in 4 hours. I cannot put it down. And then when I shut it off, I can't get to sleep.
It's interesting, right? Like,
he's so generous. It's like, hey, Gary, can I get a selfie? Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. What's your name? Click. See, and he's multitasking. I just think he is such a sweet, sweet guy. A Jew from Bosnia?
Yeah, I think so.
Or no. It's Russia. What's the name of the town he comes from in Russia? Anyways, he's a Russian Jew.
Yeah, he's from that side, yeah. But
But
he's like one of the people that I would say, like, my kind of side of that is like Logic. Logic is an artist from Maryland. He's a huge rapper nowadays. But he's one of the people that I've taken a lot of inspiration from him for a lot of things. Like, I wear these glasses because he had similar kind of glasses. I also need glasses. But, one of the things he does having to do with Gary Vee is they've done a few videos together. But they've done stuff where Logic, the main thing that I love about him is that he goes up to somebody and they go, yo, I love you. And that's the thing. Shakes their hand, not just, yo, bro, thanks, peace. It's, what's your name? Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Like, shakes their hand. Thank you. He asks them.
Eye contact.
Do you want a picture? Instead of, hey, man, can I get a picture? He asks them, would you want a picture? Would you want this? Which is, for someone that's just starting out in music.
Someone to look up to.
Yeah, like, it's great. It's fantastic. I now starting to get fans, which is insane. Like, it's so weird to me.
Whoever thought?
Yeah, I'm like, thanks.
That's not what you started out this, or
No.
did you always want to say?
I've always wanted, like, I've always wanted to be, huge, but it's great because it's finally starting to happen. Like, there's a guy who always comes to my shows named Brandon Russell, I think, or Russell, the nicest guy ever. And every time I go to a show, I play, he's there. Hey man, I love it. And I told him next show I have at home, I'm going to bring him up on stage and we'll just have a good time together. Cause I'm like, the people now that care about it is the people that are always going to care about it. So that's why I want, what's your name? Where are you from, man? Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you coming. I know you had stuff to do tonight. Glad that you spent the money and came to see me do what I want to do. So I took a lot of cues from Logic in that sense. I'm trying to think of other people that I'm big on YouTube, but nothing that's like music related. I just kind of watch a bunch of stuff. Who else am I listening? I mean, I'm listening to The Weeknd a little bit. Do you mind if I just check my iTunes, who I'm listening to right now? Go for it.
I know we're live on YouTube. This thing's still. Hey, we've been up for an hour already.
Damn, I'm good to go as long as you want to go. So I've been listening to. It's weird. I'm listening to a lot of Italian jazz from 1996.
There's no Italian jazz.
There's some Italian jazz. Italian jazz.
Because you're Italian, but if I try to say that, I get kind of you can't say that, you Irish.
I've listened to to the Beatles a little bit. Logic.
The Beatles, eh?
Yeah, I've been getting into the Beatles a little bit. I feel like I should. Listen to them a lot. Listening to a few bands lately. One called Coin. They're from Nashville. They do like pop indie stuff. I've also been listening to like local guys. Like
yeah, let's talk about that.
yeah.
Don't let me get done with you before we talk about Dano too. But who are you crushing on locally?
Locally, man, I was saying to this a few of my friends recently. It was like, if people realize it or not, there's this new generation of artists that are coming out of this area that are just, give us 2-3 years and we're sweeping this whole place. Like, I'm telling you, like artists like Nick B and Deepax. I don't know if you ever got the chance to meet them. Fantastic guys. They just started doing rap in the last, I think, year or two. Amazing, like fantastic guys. We've played a few shows. Nick B actually opened up for my first headlining show, so he was amazing. But even not even rap, like there's them. There's Valerie Borghese, like the superstar. She's insane. We got a few things coming together.
Crazy, sexy, and just old school. She's like one of those. Who do I refer to? Elise Legros. She's out of Toronto.
Right.
It's like this old world sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Monaco's got this too.
Yeah.
But she's got this Betty Boop old school sexy.
It's the Lana Del Rey
with the new school charm. Yeah. And it's such a nice mix with. Well, I can't point to anyone that's got a guy that's got it, but I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't see them that way. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Valerie is.
Valerie.
My dad, of all people, is the one that says, "Hey, you know Valerie Borghese?" I'm like,
really?
I think I know her mom, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out, yeah, Lucy's like I worked with Lucy.
Oh,
I love Lucy. And Val is just such a. I bumped into both of them at the market the other day, and I'm just like, I could talk to you guys all day.
They're
so
amazing,
sweet,
right?
and talented too. So
that's
I'm glad
what I
you
mean,
brought her up. Yeah.
Yeah, we exclusive, but for this new album, yeah, Valerie's all over it. Like, we're doing 3 songs together on this new album. She does a voice acting job for me on this album. I got her on it, and that's what I mean.
How did you pick that groove, man?
Man, it's I
did
saw
you know her?
No, I saw her at a show. You know what's crazy? So, and one of the other people
You're
on this
fanboying
list
on her?
I was like, holy crap, she's insane. Well, the reason I met her is because my best friend and arguably the most talented artist in this whole city is Nico Tripodi, Nico TK.
Oh.
Like, he's insane. Like you, if you haven't checked him out.
She brought up Tripodi's name too, and I'm wondering if
Jessica,
yeah. I know Tony.
And Stephen Tripodi is his father. Yeah.
Oh, Stephen
Okay. Tripodi, yeah.
Yes, well, Stephen is Tony's son.
Yeah. And then Nico.
So Tony's a realtor.
Yeah.
I call him the Godfather. One of the coolest guys ever.
Yeah.
Old school Italian guy. Taught me a lot. Oh, I love him. And Stephen's a naturopath, right?
I'm not sure exactly what he is, but he is in that field. Yeah. So Nico, if you haven't ever checked out Nico, there's one thing you need to do tonight is check out Nico, because he's the most talented kid in this whole city. But Nico is one of my best friends. We went to high school together.
Okay.
So he was like, yo, I'm playing this show, this like artist showcase, and it was hosted by this girl named Ola. And I'm like, okay, I didn't really know Ola at all. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. She's this amazing songwriter. And I was like, okay, I'll go. It's at the Warehouse. Sure. So it was them. It was Nico. It was Chloe Rabideau. I mean, amazing as well. I think it was Jin, like Nicole Sermonera, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think she was there. That was another show. But Valerie came up, and I was like, who's this? And she was killer. And I was like, I remember I walked up to her. I was like, I'm getting you on my album. I was like, I don't have an album yet at that time. I'm like, I'm getting you on an album. She's like, let's do it. I love it. Let's go.
She's open to everything, almost anything, it seems like. Yeah. Really nice girl.
So there's so there's Nick, there's Dylan, so Nick B and Deepax, there's Nico, there's Valerie, there's Jessica Wilson. Amazing. Like, obviously you just talked to her. She's a fantastic singer. Super nice girl. Like, I love her. There's, who else? There's Sophia DeLuca. She's amazing. She's also on the album. There's Jin, Nicole Sermonera, her band. Like,
Filthy.
Jin as a unit is so amazing.
Filthy.
I know people sometimes
That's the biggest
single out
three-piece
Nicole.
I've ever seen, yeah.
Amazing. But
yeah.
Jin
Ivan's
themselves
great.
are,
Joe's great.
Yeah. Nicole's also on the album. I'm trying to think who else.
She is just
killer.
Such a stud.
Yeah, she's insane.
And she's got this I don't give a fuck nonchalant attitude. I know she does, but it's just just like water off a duck's back, it seems.
She's crazy. And that's the thing. I think there's this new generation of, there's these bands that, like, My Son the Hurricane's a great example. They're fantastic. I love them. They're amazing. But they're appealing to an older generation. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
But
what do you
saying,
mean?
Because
older
kids,
what? Like me?
No, not older than you. I'm just saying.
You mean younger
like,
than me? Older.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that there's this new wave of artists that are like, you know, people have been doing it. And the Niagara Music Awards are a great example. we're now starting to get nominations and win these awards, where the last few years it's been these people like Brad Battle, fantastic dude, he's amazing. Mel Monaco, never got the chance to meet her, but her band, she seems like an amazing person.
Got a huge game.
Yeah, of course.
Huge game.
And that's the thing. I like that there's these established artists that are doing their thing. They've been doing it for so long. And then now there's almost like a spot. And we're like, all right, let's take it. So, like, Valerie's doing this insane Lana Del Rey crazy singing. Jessica's got these 80s pop synth. Nico's like the Virgil Abloh of music. And then I like to think that it's like, hey, I'm now the rap artist. Nick B and Deepak's fantastic guys too, and they're also in that list. But it's like, when you listen to music from Niagara, yeah, there's those people, Mice and the Hurricane, all these great artists. They're fantastic that have been doing it for so long, and their audience has grown with them as time's gone on. You know, I don't know, I don't know how long Mice and the Hurricane's been together. I know it's over 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. The audience that's been with them for so long is so far with them. It's great. Their kids or the younger generation, we're going, hey, what's up? Now we're here. Let's take it 10 times higher and let's hit all these other spots. You know?
Yeah, I don't think people understand the talent pool that we have in Niagara.
It's insane.
Just insane. And I'm glad you brought that up and contrasted it to the age and the generations too, because, well, my connect was with you guys was from 610.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got lucky. I talked myself onto a show. They gave me a chance, and I loved it. And I think I was pretty decent at it. And then, as just as lucky, I kind of came up with this idea. And you know who was the first one? Paige Kopp. Paige Kopp was the first girl to play in my studio. Nice. She was like 15.
Right.
She brought her guitar, brought her father, and her dad's like, she thinks this is normal. She's 15 years old. She's playing a gig on the radio, but she thinks that, like, she doesn't get how special this is.
Yeah.
So she played right in the studio where I do my talk show.
Right.
And then we started bringing in, we brought in Theater Crisp, and we had, you name it.
Yeah.
X Prime back in the day, they played in the producer's studio around a couple mics.
That's dope.
So going in and out of the commercial, we'd have live music.
Yeah.
So I thank Clark and Lisa Bitter pretty much, because they had a fish and chip place in Niagara Falls called Batter Up.
Okay.
And they had a couch where these musicians used to play on. Anthony Botting. They introduced me to all these guys. Corey Cruz, Aaron.
Corey Cruz.
Jay Foreign comes in from Black Flies. He lays a disc on me. He says, here, Aaron wants you to have this. I go, who's Aaron? Aaron Berger. Color and Light, he dropped on me. Dude, I mean, I know it's not your genre, but this is a top to bottom, still one of my favorite albums.
Wow,
it's Niagara. It's a Niagara guy.
That's what I mean. It's crazy, right?
It was the musicians that I got to know through this gig on 610. And that it was the touring musicians like Dano that would come in and go, dude, I've been to how many countries? You know, he used to do a lot of, work in the States, laying on the couch and session work, right? Yeah. Where he just gets called in to do a drum spot.
Of course.
And it was guys like that who go, like, you don't get, I've traveled all over the world playing music, and there's nothing like Niagara. And I'm not saying that because I'm from Niagara. It's just the talent pool. You don't understand how deep it is.
It's crazy.
Jihad Yahia from Road Waves. He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's, like, he's your generation.
Exactly.
But Road Waves is fire right now.
They're crazy.
Fire.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm getting goosebumps.
There's so many great
At the
artists.
Warehouse, fucking...
The Warehouse
they called G up on
they're
stage
the house.
with fucking Mice on the Hurricane. And you know, there's another gig where I'm like, you know what? I'm staying home. I'm broke. I'm feeling sorry for myself. G's like, dude, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I know. I'm not. When I'm broke, I'm broke. I'm not going out. I'm not going to call you and go, hey, can you get me in and buy me a beer? Like, so I just decided to stay home. But when I heard he got called up, and I knew it, I'm like, gee, you know, I don't got many regrets in life. Yeah. But I really would have loved to see you get up on stage with Hurricane. Man. Push Sippus out of the way. Yeah. Get out of here, Chris.
Warehouse is really the home of all that, though. That's what I love about it, because it's part of the new generation of, like, we got a venue for us. We have all of our artists doing stuff together, and that's why it's like, it's amazing. Like, you know, even Kojin, who I'm sure, I don't know if you've ever met him. He's from Hamilton, so he's not really in the Niagara. I would still count him, though. He's a fantastic artist. He's going on tour. I'm playing 2 shows with him, actually. 2 shows in the next few days with him, and he's fantastic. But there's such, like, I don't know, there's such a hot pocket of artists that are coming out right now. And there's always been artists coming out here. And I think it's because we're close enough to Toronto where we can have our connections, we have studios, but we also, we're not to Toronto. Like, from being there for 2 years now, I'm like, I love coming home because as great as Toronto is, there's a lot of it's a super different culture. Maybe it's just the youth culture there, but like being here is like great because there it's all, you know, who's the next Drake, who's the next this. We're close enough where we still get, you know, we have the connections we have, but it's like, you know, we're not trying to be anybody because the only artists that have ever come out of St. Catharines aren't these mega stars. They're fantastic and they've done what they do, and it's great because we can follow up on that. But we're not trying to reach Drake levels where it's like that's so hard to do, you know. But yeah, no, there's definitely a generation, and I wish I could name more people, but that's the people I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, Ola, great songwriter as well. Who else? I'm trying to think. There's tons of people that are great.
Gin is fat. They're the fattest 3-piece combo ever. And I remember I introduced Nicole maybe at the same show that you were at. Or actually, did I introduce him? I remember I had to give her shit because I'm like, listen, never take the stage without being introduced.
Yeah.
You don't just start your show.
No.
You got to have somebody introduce you so they know who the hell. And I always give you guys shit. I'll yell from this. I have no problem yelling from the crowd.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Yeah.
You guys forget to say who you are. Say it after every song. I'm Everett Champion. I'm whatever you're going by. You know what I mean? So let's shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
Hard segues all the way through.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with anything you got.
I don't know if you've given much thought to this, so I'll put you on the spot a little bit.
Go for
it. If you haven't given it much thought, I'd encourage you to give it some more thought and write it out. So you're the Hollywood writer and producer and director of your own story.
Mm-hmm.
It starts now.
Yep.
How's it end?
How's it end?
Like step by step. Like you have a goal out. Like, I mean, you can write it.
Yeah.
Any way you want.
Yeah.
So it can't be a tragedy.
No. I hope not.
You know.
I would say, you know what? There's definitely checkpoints that I'd love to hit.
Okay. So
you know, I've
these are ones you've written down and thought out, and given a lot of planning.
I mean, I have like on my laptop. I have like a business plan.
You okay sharing that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah,
okay,
of course. Cool. So I finally head off one recently. I finally headlined my own show. That was amazing. I finally got to do that.
A ticketed event
that
you got paid for.
I got paid for.
So all important.
That was really nice. The next goal I'd love to hit is selling out a show myself. You know, I'd love to do that. You know, reaching out one day, I'd love to sell at the Meridian Center. It's great because I'm sure people aren't like, well, Meridian Center, like whatever. I'm like, no, I'd love to, because that's our hometown ACC.
Baby.
I'd love to play the Meridian Center. I'd love to, you know, I love my album. When I drop this album, I've never worked this hard on a project before. So when this album comes out, like that's a checkpoint. Drop my debut album. Everything I've done up to this leads to this project.
You got samples on this album too?
No, nothing.
They're all
Everything's
you created
original.
all your beats?
Everything that's coming out in the last 2 years.
Are you creating your beats, or are you getting your boys to do it?
I've got producers that I know. I've worked. So the main thing that happens is like I have a circle of probably 10 producers that I like. They're all over the world.
You mean beat producers?
Beat producers,
okay.
Yeah. So they will produce stuff. They'll put it out on YouTube, or they'll just kind of send it around. And if I find something I like, I'm like, yo, can I use this? And, you know, you pay them a lease, you pay them off, and it's like, yeah, here you go. Here's the files, and then you just head it. So, but a lot of the time it's like, hey, do you think you could add this, or could we do this? Or it's like, this song's kind of missing this. Can I add this? So, for example, Nicole, who is fantastic, I was like listening to a song, the second song on the album, like, this is a great song.
Nicole.
Sermonera.
Okay.
So I'm like, this is missing something. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, you know what? What if we got Nicole to do a guitar solo? Which is like
your album. I was gonna say.
Oh no,
they don't have an album yet.
No,
I'm
not
constantly
yet.
busting their ass, dude. Get in the studio.
I'd love to hear an album from them.
Yeah.
But,
originals.
Originals would be crazy. But yeah, like this album, I want to do as much stuff as possible. So releasing it, and I mean, hopefully, you know, it goes big. You know, I want to drop the debut single, which I have ready. The single's good to go. We're just working on shooting the video soon. So, you know, a checkpoint, yeah, I dropped the single. Hopefully it does well. The album. Years up, I'd love to go on tour one day. That'd be sick. And it's funny because talking about it now, I bet in a few years, I'm going to be like, man, imagine, I'd love to go on tour one day. And then years later, I'm like, I'm on tour. Like, that was pretty cool to say. But I want to go on tour. I want to open up for some crazy artists, you know. I love being the headliner. I love it being my show, but I'd love to open up for some crazy artists. Like, I'd love to open up for Logic one day. I'd love to open up for Eminem one day, G-Eazy, Jay-Z, anybody. I'd love to do something and be interactive with those people. One of the big things for me is, and I don't think a lot of people know, is that all my albums are like connected in like a cinematic thematic universe. So there's characters, there's skits, There's all these things. So like, I love to complete the story, you know? So this album is all, it's funny, I haven't really given any information about the album, but I have no problem talking about it. But it's called, actually I won't say the name. That's cool. I'll give the acronym. It's MMA 905 is the acronym for the album. But it's all about two guys that were at this party from Out for the Night, this big house party they're at. And they sit down at this diner and they're going, man, you know, and you'll hear the diner, you hear the plates crashing, you hear these people talking, and it's like, man, I was at this party and I met this girl. And the other guy goes, yeah, man, you know, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I broke up with my girlfriend. And, you know, and there's these two perspectives of relationships. The first half of the album is all this love song and, oh, man, last night was so cool. I did this and that. And the second half is more like kind of heartbreak, breakup, darker kind of stuff. But there's a whole thematic universe going on within these albums. So another checkpoint to be like tied up and let people know. Because I feel like I'm saying this now, a lot of people probably don't know that my albums are all connected. Like, since aesthetic sound, there's groundwork, there's locations, there's, you know, all these things going on. So I would say another checkpoint is like kind of letting people know that and getting people along for the ride and then tying up the story and starting a new one. Because I think more than anything, I'm a storyteller more than a rapper, you know? Right.
And so do you keep putting out your goals and your as you call them, checkpoints? You involve people in that from the standpoint that you want people to know what it is so that you can be held accountable to it.
And I put
it's not like, oh, I'm going to quit this today, but I can't tell anyone because I'm going to fail. And then when I fail, I have no one to, you know, nobody's going to be disappointed except me.
Yeah, no, I definitely air it out.
Accountability.
I air it out because I want people to be invested as me as a person. I want them to be invested with me as a person just as much as they're invested in the music. So I'm saying, you know, I want to sell at the Meridian Center. I want people to know that and be like, hey, when you do it, I'll buy a ticket. Like, I'd love, because you tweeted about it 3 years ago. Or, you know, I remember on the very first mixtape I did, I said, I want to sell with the Meridian, a Grammy in my hand. I want to be a recipient. Like, I was like, I
love it when you rap.
I've been saying it. I'm like, I want to do big things, and I want people to know that that's what I want. So, yeah. And this is another example. Like, when I play shows, I want people to come out. I want people to support. Obviously, like anybody does. But no, I definitely air out what I'm trying to do.
Are we following each other on Twitter now that you mentioned it?
If we're not, we got to now.
Oh.
Sauce the follow. I'll send it right back.
Everett Champion?
Everett Champion.
I'm following you now.
There
I
we
can't
go.
believe I missed you, bro.
I'll get it right now. Let's see. I don't have the Wi-Fi here, but when I get the notification, I'll add it right back.
That's no problem, man.
But yeah.
I'm glad to see.
Are you on the Twitter?
Yeah, I just loaded it up now. As soon as you said I've been tweeting out about it, I'm like, shit, I don't have you on my
At Everett Champion. Let's go.
Announcement soon. New era on the way. MMA 905 hashtag.
That's it.
That will make sense.
The little rose emoji.
It's a pinned tweet since November 5th. That's not very fresh.
No.
2018. So
it's been there. I mean, I started writing this album in September of 2017.
Okay.
I've been writing
so
this
you're
album.
done writing.
Oh yeah, it's been written. It's just
okay.
Right now it's in the mixing and mastering stage.
Where'd you record it?
Kyle Whitaker, Strange Pumpkin.
Okay.
That is my guy. I've gone to him since I was 14, putting out music. Like, he is like the best producer, the best engineer I've ever met. And like, yeah, we've been working together for years now, and it's just show up and it's cool. We're at that point now where it's like, I show up and I'm like, can we just do like the thing? Like, do you know what I mean? He's like, I already did it. We're good to go.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah, he's produced every one of my albums that's been out. Jay Batty, did 3 songs on Days of Summer, just recording, and then Kyle went back and mixed and mastered.
Filthy. Beatty was over the other day, and you know, I feel very fortunate. You say, yeah, I'll come home, hang out with you for a couple hours. I mean, this is. I'm such a huge fan. Like, Aaron Berger calls me praise master because I think when I was a kid, I thought it was inauthentic to say, hey, you look good today. Like, I couldn't compliment anyone because it just felt like it just. And now I'm in a space that I really get how many guys like you and me might have never heard it before, or could use to hear it today. Maybe they heard it their whole life, and it's just maybe they're having a bad day. Yeah. And so I think it's really important. One, I mean, your genre is not like where I live. I do like your music because, I listen to Rock Our Town all the time, and it comes up, and I'm like, oh, I know who this is. And hey, I haven't heard this one before, and it's actually great.
Thank you.
You know, some songs I'm like, yeah. You know, I heard a love song the other day. I'm like, what can this kid know about a broken heart? He's 14 when he wrote this thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know.
Shit. You never know.
Aaron Berger's album Color and Light, and Matthew James Blake, I was at the party. You know, he drove me to a party last night. I said, come on in, my buddies. You know, no problem. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. It was cool because I've known Matthew for a long time, and he's never really hung around with my crew. So to see me with my crew was cool for him because he's like, hey, I didn't know you were a fucking electronic salesman back then. I go, oh yeah, one of the best.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
And but I make a point of telling Aaron and everyone, and like last night at the party, I said to MJ, this kid's one of the best musicians in Niagara. Like truly, like he's 36 or something years old. He's like, fuck, and I was telling Billy yesterday, my brother, we had a job down here. I said, no, I'm putting Aaron Berger on. I'm putting the whole album on. It's called Color and Light, and I love it, top to bottom. And I think you'll like every song on it. And everyone that plays on the album is hugely talented. So I put it on, then it ended. Then I put up Matthew James Blake. Heroes comes up. He played that live. Make Me Say came up. Just a beautifully written, produced, and everything song. And then 3 songs in, I hear this. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is MJ too. I'm telling Billy, my brother, okay, this is Matthew James Blake. You met him before, blah blah blah. And then I hear me talking. Dude, it's an interview.
Really?
Like he played it right here.
That's crazy.
And I got the mic's positioned well. I'm getting better at it. I'm still not pro, but it sounded almost, and I say almost, studio-like because, you know, that's why I throw all the, you know, the blankets up and stuff like that to take the echoes out and everything. The point of the long road that I'm taking, it is the Jim Fannon Show for a reason.
There you go.
Is I don't think people get acknowledged enough.
No.
Like Aaron Berger's album Color and Light was stuck in my deck for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I cried and laughed and got angry through that whole album. Like, you know, a certain time in my life when every song meant something different to me. And I love the love affair that you go through with an album, right?
I love it, yeah.
Like track 3 is called In St. Catharines.
Ooh, so, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was even double cool because when I was driving the Beamer, when I put the disc in, it'd tell me what the song's name was.
Oh, that's dope.
So I hear the In St. Catharines. I'm like, In St. Catharines. I look down. Oh, the song's called In St. Catharines, right? But I would always skip over Calgary with song 1 to get to 3.
Yeah,
because I wanted to hear In St. Catharines.
Of course.
So, but then when I got in the mode of like just starting on 3, and listening to the whole album, then I'd never came back to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So it's strange that now, 6 years later, Calgary is one of my favorite songs. That's because crazy. I didn't really get to it until later in my crush on this album. And I crushed on this album for a year.
Yeah.
And then you know what it's like. It goes on your shelf for 2 years because you're tired of it.
Yeah.
And then you bring it right,
pick it back, and you're like, I know why I like this.
So I say all that to say, I've become much better at telling people, hey, number 1, way to go. Yeah. You're good at what you do, and what you do actually made an impact on me. Like it got me through some, and I think music is one of those things will get you through it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you got I remember a bad relationship, 20 years ago that I was coming out of with a broken heart. I went straight into typo negative. You ever heard these guys from Texas?
No.
They're like,
heavy stuff.
Like the real black, dark stuff.
Hell yeah.
And I just hated for months over that thing. And then I went out of it. I was into Brooks and Dunn for a while.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say that.
That's the thing, though. I think music's so dope just because, like, it's like someone's having a conversation with you, but you don't ever have to say your side. You can just be like, yeah, I feel you. You don't have to say anything back. You're like, I get you. Yeah, I know what you feel. Like, that's why music's so crazy. And I think that's actually, it's funny they mentioned that, though. That's why I think, to just bring it back to the album for one sec, but like, that's why I think this thing is going to do so well, because it's so relatable. And that's why I think Drake does so well. He's the most relatable dude ever.
I don't even know who Drake is.
Dude. It's okay, though, but that's the thing. But, like, you know the name, at least, right?
As soon as they put on that, what do you call it, the mic with the special...
the auto-tune?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Dude, that's the thing.
With the auto-tune.
No, the auto-tune slaps. But it's like, that's the thing, though. It's like, he's so relatable because he's like this, he's not that much of... Okay, well, he's still a young guy. He's like 32 now. But compared to my generation, But he's just this dude that now he's a superstar, but back in the day, and he still is talking about things that people are like, man, I feel that. Like, that's why girls' Instagram captions are Drake quotes. That's why it's the #1 thing. If you ever notice, if you see a lyric, it's probably a Drake lyric. And that's where it's like, damn, that's so cool. And that's what I want to do, is I want this to be like the most relatable project ever for any gender, anything. Like, it doesn't have to be just to do a Drake song. It's like anybody can get what I'm trying to talk about. And that's why I think relatability is the biggest thing you need to have in your music. If you're just talking about, I have the money, I did this, yeah, it's cool to listen to once or twice, but if people don't have, you're like, I pulled up in the Bugatti, 99% of people don't have a Bugatti, so it's like cool to listen to, yeah.
They don't even know what a Bugatti is.
Yeah, but if I'm like, yo, I drove with my black Jeep, people are like, oh, I have a Jeep, my brother has a Jeep, that's so cool, we have the same car. It's like, making relatable is what I try and do, and that's what I'm trying to do the most on this album. But I feel what you mean. Like, you listen to an album, and you're like, I felt that, man. Like, you really are like there's a lot of stuff that's just like, you listen back, and then you put it on rotation, and you're like, God damn, I remember why I listened so much,
heavy rotation, man. There's nothing, you just get into it so much. Now, tell me if you struggle with this, because it's something that I found myself, kind of, you fall into the trap. Now, everyone says don't compare. But like, I've got some broadcasters that I really like, like Ben Shapiro. It I have less in common with Ben Shapiro than anyone, but politically and ideologically, I kind of fall on that conservative side of the spectrum these days.
Cool.
Facts over feelings, free speech. Don't tell me there's hate speech. Don't tell me I can't criticize the religion of Muslim. Like, we criticize Christianity all the time. It's not a big deal. Anyways, I've been noticing I've fallen into the trap of, I could never do it that good.
Okay.
So therefore, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
How do you get past that? Because you've obviously gotten past it. Because, I mean, I get the mindset of, I'm the best rapper ever. I'm the best interview, I'm the best podcast, whatever. Because if you're not in that place, I think it's taken me a long time to get to this place of, and I think I'm just slowly getting to it now, of, I don't give a fuck what Scotty Slap 69 says. That doesn't even have he's got a
profile picture.
Yeah, like, seriously.
Yeah.
Now, if someone that knows and loves me for a long time says, hey, you're a piece, then okay, but even that, I got to put aside and go, you don't know me. You don't know what I'm or you do know me, but you don't know what I'm going through, or blah, blah, blah. So I've been finding lately that, I look at the pros and I go, yeah, I suck.
No, that's the thing.
And then try and get work through it,
No, that's the thing, though. I don't think you can look at it and be like, man, they're so good. Why even try? Because it's like, cool, eventually you'll get to that level. Like, that's how I look at it. It's like, one of my favorite artists is John Bellion. If you've ever heard of him, he's a fantastic, amazing artist, and his songs are insane. They're crazy, and I'm like, man, like, I'd love to do something like this. But if you think about it, where it's like, but why even try? It's like, then why are you even doing this at all if you're not going to try? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I see all these great artists that I love, and they're massive, and their music hits me so hard, and I'm like, great, one day I'm gonna get there. I don't have to be there right now. I have to, if I rush to be the best, then what's the rest of the time going to be if I'm the best whenever? You know what I mean? Like, it's enjoy the ride.
What if you're one of those guys that, like, wants to be the best but doesn't want to actually practice or work for it? Like, you rehearse, don't you?
I rehearse a lot, but that's the thing.
I think, like, doing this kind of stuff, if I rehearse, like, a monologue, and I try to memorize it, I end up fucking it all up.
But that's okay. That's okay if you
I'd rather just, just wing it. And if I forget something, I forget something.
At the same time, though, winging it could just be your thing.
Yeah, well, definitely.
You can be the best podcast interviewer and just wing it if you're good at it. And you are. Like, even this conversation is off the cuff. It's great.
I don't have anything. I very seldom research people, but then once in a while I'll have somebody come on and I go, ooh, I should have done my homework on that. But I don't need to be the guy that knows everything. In fact, I want to be the opposite. I want to be the guy that goes, hey, so tell me about this, because I don't know anything about it.
Exactly. And I it's honestly, really, it's like, you don't have to be the best right now. If you believe that you're the best, great, and keep doing what you're doing. But I'm fully aware that I'm not as good as I'm going to be way better than I am. And, like, okay, so Logic's a great example too. He's one of the best rappers I've ever heard. His lyrics and his everything is crazy. And I'm like, ooh, I'm not as good as him right now, but let me practice to get there, because one day he won't be here and I will be. You know what I mean? Like, it's just practice, because I enjoy practice. Like I enjoy working on stuff. I enjoy, even if it's not music, I enjoy editing videos. I love doing album covers and stuff. Like I like practicing what I'm doing because I enjoy doing it. So when I get to that point, I'm like, cool, I really worked my ass off to get here, and it shows, and it'll show to other people. And at the same time, you know, there's people that are looking at you and me now going, man, I wish I could do what they do. You know, I wish it. And you go, great, let me be better so that they can get better. You know what I mean? Like there's people that I know that especially in high school, people be like, I love what you do. In high school, I was like 16. I just started 3 years in. I love what you do, man. I want to be just like you. I'm not, you know, it's like I had maybe 1 or 2 people, but I'm like, let me get better so that you can get better with me. If you can hit where I'm at now, fantastic. It's not that hard. I've only been doing this for so long. But when I'm 10 years in, hopefully you're 5 years in and you're doing as where I was when I was 5 years in, you know? So, I mean, that's the thing. And you said it yourself. There's no rush. You know what I mean? You still got half your life left. I've still got tons of my life left. So I don't
80
need
years. If
I don't
you're lucky, maybe 100.
Hopefully, like I don't need to be the best in the public eye now. I know that myself that I'm gonna get better, and I feel like I'm the best that I've been. But I don't need to be the best right now. I need to build now.
So what do you think? What does the voice say in your head that you've had to overcome that biting bullshit lie
that I have to be the best?
No, it's usually a criticism, like you suck or you're not good enough or blah blah blah. What is that thing that you've, because it's probably still there, it's like your weakness, it's
the kryptonite,
whatever, the devil on your shoulder that just goes, you're a fucking loser, you suck at this or whatever, you know. And sometimes it goes back to trauma in early childhood or something like that. But what have you had to overcome? Like for me, I would say, I don't know, I'd have to give that some more thought of exactly what it is. For a lot of people, it's you suck, you're not enough or whatever. So.
Well, I remember, it's funny you mention that. So I remember when I put out, before I even put out a project, when I was 14, I put out a remix of a Hoodie Allen song called No Interruption. And that was my biggest song to date. It had like a few thousand views. I'm 14 going, oh my God, like, this is insane. And I remember I had like a moment after that came out when I was working on the next stuff. And I was like, I'm never going to make a song better than this. I'm like, what if I never make a song that has this many views? And I remember my girlfriend at the time was like, then stop then if you don't think you're ever going to hit something. But I'm like, I don't want to stop. And it's like, then don't stop. It's like, there's always that, like, I still sometimes have that voice in my head where it's like, man, like that song was so good. Like, can you do it again? But I'm like, now I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, I can do it better than that because I'm better than I was then.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not perfect in any regards at all, but I think I've kind of just put that voice behind me now. Like, I don't really think about it stuff. Like, obviously I have criticism on my music and I'm like, ooh, that song needs some work. But I'm never like, man, what if I don't have a song bigger than Mamacita? Because right now that's my biggest song, and that's what I think people know me by. I'm like, Mamacita's a great song.
It is a great song.
Let me
it's one of the songs I actually know. So
thank you. And that's great that you know it. And then it's like, if I stood here and was like, yeah, Mamacita was great that I put out 2 years ago. Yeah, that was about it though. I'm never gonna make something better than that. I went in and made Juliet, which is the next single. Like that was from my Out for the Night, which I think is on the same caliber as Mamacita. And I'm like, damn, I did it again. And you know, it's like, if you keep telling yourself, well, that was good, that was it, I'm never gonna get better, then you're never gonna get better, right? But if you're like, you know, that was so cool, let me one up myself. If people like this, they're gonna love what's next. Like that's where I kind of think about things, because I think I tweeted it out as well. I was like, Days of Summer had Mamacita, Out for the Night had Juliet, and it's hard to pick which one of those songs on this new album is gonna be that song, because I feel like they're all that song. You know, I think everything now is like better than anything.
It's been a while since I heard this one.
Me too. I still play it live, and I'm like, oh, I forgot that.
What are you rapping on stage with Hurricane?
When I go up on stage with them, off the top of the head. Freestyle. Yeah.
You freestyle that?
Yeah. I mean, I have the first 4 lines always written, and then everything else. Like, there's videos on my Instagram that's me doing it. This is also a good song. This is Grace, me and Nicole.
Oh, yeah, it's Nicole there. Did it not play the whole song?
It might. Is it on Spotify?
Oh, I think it is a Spotify.
It might just cut out then, yeah.
This is Nicole?
Me and Nicole.
Auto-tuned?
I don't think so.
No,
I think it was just straight, yeah. I have a little, like,
I can't tell you how much I love Nicole.
Crazy,
She's
right?
just so fucking talented and so she's just uniquely herself, and she doesn't seem to give a fuck, which I just love, especially in a girl, because I mean, it's being a girl's got to be tough, man. There's so much pressure to look perfect and everything. And I remember the first time I introduced them on stage or whatever, she had her hat turned around backwards. I'm like, how the fuck old are you kids? And you're not even allowed in this bar. She was like 16 at the time.
Yeah. She's crazy.
Just filthy, man.
Yeah, and she's on a new album as well. So you're gonna. Yeah, that's the thing. I think that if you like all these local artists, you're gonna like this new album. Because what I aimed out to do was.
Nico.
That's my boy. That's me and him.
Sounds good.
But that's the thing. He sings and he raps. He mainly sings, though. Actually, do me a favor. If you're on Spotify, just look up.
I'm just on your webpage.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm in the Spotify channel, though, so it's only playing like 20 seconds of him.
Oh, okay, yeah. But we did a song called Anesthesia on Out for the Night. That was his insane vocals. He rips a guitar solo, and yeah, he's crazy.
What's it called?
Anesthesia. It's on Out for the Night. It's the black and red cover.
Text from my ex. I could have written that one.
That's a good song. That's Nico there.
Fuck, you're good, man.
Thanks, man.
I love it.
Thank you.
I'm so fucking proud of my boys and all my
man.
girls. It doesn't matter what sex you are or what you look like. It's just
all about the good music.
A filthy, filthy, filthy amount of talent that
Thanks, man.
I can't. I have a hard time getting over it for some reason. It's crazy.
Thanks, man. That's the thing. I think if you like all these local artists, you're gonna really like this album, because my main goal was to like involve, like I said, there was like that new movement, so I wanted to like capture that movement. So like I'm trying to think everybody that's on it. So a lot of people that I know that aren't like professional, like they're not like these, like artists, but they sing really well. So that's a good song too.
That's from my ex.
That's from my ex.
I love that that's a good song too. They're all my songs and they're all good, and I'm not being a narcissist.
No, I just like I listen to them and I like them. But so that album's got Nicole, Valerie, Nico, Sophia. Who else is on it? Isabella.
That's Out for the Night?
No, that's the new one.
Oh,
this one only has Nico and my buddy Chris Kelly, who is a fantastic artist as well. If you ever listen to him, you should. He's just starting out, like in the last like year, but yeah.
Okay, so the auto-tune's not the fucking end of the world.
No, it's nice. Everybody, Travis
slaps.
Scott's whole career is auto-tune.
It slaps?
It slaps, dude. It's that's where it's at. Auto-tune, you know what? When it started out, people were like, oh, you don't have to sing anymore. But it's such an instrument. Like, it really is. So when I did a show in December, me and Nico, he was my DJ for the night, and we have like an auto-tune mic. And it's not just like, oh, I can just sing in this thing. You have to know how to use it. Like, it's a real instrument. So like that's why people are like, oh, you can't sing with it. But it's like, dude, it's so hard to use. Like, it's not just like, let me just sing because it fixes it. It's like, you have to like put enough power into it. You have to know when to back out. It's a whole process. Yeah. So yeah, but I'm glad you like that stuff, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I've been a big fan for a while, and I'm not sure how much we got up and running at rockertown.ca, but I love that Rockertown tweets every 5 minutes what song's playing on the station.
That's dope.
And it's commercial free. And, I appreciate, thanks for finally accepting me as a friend on Facebook. I think I was like, you know what, I'm going to make this guy wait about 3 fucking years before I accept this. Oh, it's Jim Fannon request. I know it's there. You see it all the time.
I didn't know. I didn't know. And then I was like, what? Why am I not? And I was like, okay. Yeah. Well, because I was like going to hit you up about the thing.
Yeah.
Like coming here. And then I was like, I thought I did. I was like, okay. I was like, that's weird. But yeah. No, I'm happy I'm here, man. I really appreciate the opportunity, man.
I forget where I was going with that. Sometimes I lose my train of thought.
Oh, it's okay. So do I. It's the artist way.
It's not the end. Rockertown. So I just happened to take. Okay, so I got a Saturday night playlist that I put up on Saturday night sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just have it repeat over and over. And there's about 800 songs that play. There's about 3 days worth of content.
Mm-hmm.
So you shouldn't hear a repeat for a couple days.
Yeah.
But in that one Saturday screenshot, I got all my favorites. Like I got Mice on the Hurricane, Theater Crisp, all my Burger Blake Gould, Black Flies, like you name it. There's a whole group of guys there that I put in that I want to hear on a Saturday night. And it's, well, Easy EC is Easy EC, right?
Yeah.
Easy EC. But I don't mean to, because I know you're going by Everett
No,
Champion.
no, it's okay.
And dude, I know there is a champion already, but I just love the last name.
Yeah,
it's
me
a
too.
champ. It's a winner.
That's where
you
it's
know
at.
what I mean? It's like, who the fuck would go away and make fucking 4 letters their name?
There you go.
You know? So a good branding call on yours.
I got it for my birthday, so thanks.
So I took a screenshot of it,
Okay.
and that's where you see,
I
because
saw
there was a couple Everett Champion songs. And you're
Yeah.
like, hey, bro, thanks for playing. Well, yeah, out of the 10 songs that were there, 3 of them were yours.
I know. I was like,
I
damn.
coming up on the Rock Our Town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy
I saw
shit,
that, and I
Everett
was like-
Champion's
I was
got
like-
like 3 songs in there.
I was like, hey, man, that's dope. I really appreciate it.
And hey, I only do it because I want to give you guys some pub and stuff like this. And, you know, so there's some things I'm probably going to have to work around. One, it's not generating any income revenue stream at all.
Right.
And, you know, for something to, you know, unless I just, you know, I'm not even selling many houses these days, so something's got to pay.
Yeah, of
And
course.
the other thing is that I want to give some money to the artists too when I play this stuff, because, you know, an artist said the other day, you paying SOCAN fees? I'm like, SOCAN fees?
Yeah.
Dude, we don't even, there's no income.
Yeah.
Like we're a nonprofit. We make 0. So I probably am stealing the music. I'm probably playing it without the rights to play it. But I'm just using the library that Keith had. Like, this was Keith's baby. Keith Bellamy died about a year ago now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And it was his creation. I didn't want the files to die. There's a lot of good stuff in there, so I just kind of threw it back up. But I think he was paying everyone watching right now. All 2 people are going to say, hey, you're not paying SOCAN fees? I don't want my money. So I didn't put it up there to make money off it. I just want to pump it up. But what I'm saying is, if I don't have your full discography or whatever we call it, I know I've got Moment in Time.
Yeah.
Because I have that physical CD. Like, I bought that one. At a
Yeah,
show.
I remember that.
So I know I've got that one, but I might have to get some hard copies. I don't think I've got Aesthetic Sound.
Yeah, I can get you one. I love if you played some of the
Nico's
newer
on that
stuff
one
too.
eh?
Nico's on every project I've ever done, and that's one of the main things is that. So Nico's like my best friend. Like, Nico's the guy. Like, he's a legend. Like, in my eyes, like, he's a year younger than me, but
Good
he feels
family,
like he's
man.
25 years like ahead of me. But no, one of the main things is, like, I will always have Nico on a project. It doesn't matter where it is, when it is. If I have to fly to, he's
Who's
on
this?
tour. This is Devin Baldwin. She's this is a sample. But she's
okay.
she's a great pop singer from the Bay, from Oakland. She's amazing. But the main thing is, like, yeah, Nico is like, even if I have to fly to New Zealand because he's on tour, I'll get the vocals from him because I need him on every single project, just as like a respect thing. Like,
He's on tour in New Zealand?
No, I'm saying in 20 years when he is, it doesn't
okay,
matter. Like, whatever album I'm on, I will always get him to do something because just out of respect, like, he's my brother. Like, I got to. I haven't heard this song in a while.
Alina?
Oh, Alina Baraz. Yeah,
Baraz.
she's an amazing singer too. She's that's the thing. It's funny. Like, there's a Beastie Boys album, Paul's Boutique, that's just samples. That's what these 2 projects are like. Like, they're just sample me rapping on different beats and people's things, and really mixtape. Like, that's really what mixtape culture was and is still. So I was really honing in on that. But yeah, it's funny. I haven't heard a lot of these songs in a long time. It's funny.
Yeah, Here to Stay is the number 1 listen to track there.
Here Stays a cool song.
Oh, no. Runaway.
Runaway's a cool song. Yeah, Runaway's a good one too, I think.
I missed these ones because I was scrolled down.
Oh, no worries. Runaway was track 2 on Aesthetic Sound. Yeah, it was like the first song. The first track on Aesthetic Sound's a skit, but this is
it's
like
the number 1 listen to track on this album.
That's
in
awesome.
In SoundCloud,
Yeah. It's weird because people really like this one. It wasn't like one of the singles or anything. I was just like, this is how I started the album off. But this is BB Rexa, who has a song with Florida Georgia Line right now. G-Eazy. But yeah, Halsey's on this project. Like, there's a lot of like different artists that are just kind of all over the place, but I love it. It's just like, it's my little, I don't know. It's like I'm collabing with these artists that I've never met yet, but it kind of feels like I have, you know?
Let's collab, man.
Let's work. Let's grind. Rise and grind. Let's get it. But Yeah, this was a cool song too. I remember doing this song.
It's got some good bass beats.
People always like Runaway's got some good bass. I'm like, thanks.
You need it. You can't hear it on the speakers here, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to cut you loose to just to respect your time. And
no rush.
Daytona 500's coming up, and
yeah.
we can only bore people for so much longer. Anyways, I'm really proud of you, man.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it a lot.
You're doing the hard work, and Dano O'Shea is a good boy to hook up with, man.
Ooh,
and
Dano
really, he's helped so many people, and myself included, even on the sobriety,
Yeah.
And G Sharp Yahia, again, a friend of mine, younger guy. He's like 23 years old, deeply wise, just a wisdom that has a profound effect on me. And we're not the same generation. I can say that, you can't. And so inspirational. He can talk. Talk, but he's got a great heart. He actually cares about people, and this mentoring comes very naturally to him. So I'm glad to see you hooked up with him. I'm so proud that he calls you up on stage.
Man, me too. Like, if even just to talk for 1 sec, like Dano is like, I know he'll see this. Like, Dano is like one of the most, and if not like the most supportive person I've ever met, other than my parents, obviously, my family, but like. Even from the beginning, like I met Dano because I was learning I was taking drum lessons all over the place, just different places since I was 8, I think, until I was like 14. Like maybe I was like 7 or something like that. But taking drum lessons. Then one day my teacher who I had was like, oh, he quit for some reason. I was like, okay. And they're like, we're just going to have this guy come in for a few days. And it was Dano. He drums at Music City on Lake.
A scrub fill-in
They were
teacher.
like, yeah, he's just going to come. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like super cool. And he was like, yeah, I'm just going to start. Like he started working there for a bit. For like a few years, I was going every week for an hour with Dano. And it's playing the drums versus talking way became more than the drums. Like I would sit down on a drum set and I wouldn't even pick up the sticks. I'd be like, so like what's new? And we just chat about music and man, we're playing this show. And I remember he first told me, he's like, my son, I got this band called like My Son the Hurricane. We're kind of like doing some stuff right now. This was like 2014. So I'm like, oh, that's dope. And he's been so supportive. Like anytime they're ever back home, I just be like, hey man, can I open or can I do something? Oh yeah. We'll get you on the bill. Like I still have posters from those old shows. But like Dano's
L3 or whatever.
Yeah, L3. Where else?
Mansion House.
Mate Cafe. Played there with them a few times. Fitting all of them on that was crazy. But I remember like literally like my whole career. I remember even, you know what's funny? I even remember telling Dano, I was like, I think I'm gonna start doing rap, and he's like, really? And I was like, I think I might start doing music, and he's like, you should do it. Like let's like of course. And then I went and bought equipment from Music City and like started recording at home. But Dano was like, you know, and anytime I'm like, hey man, what do you think of this? We went to what was it called? Clarksburg, Ontario, which is like just around north of Guelph. And I was like, hey, can I like intern for you for the summer last summer? And he's like, yeah, we're gonna go to Clarksburg. You want to come and you can just open up? And I was like, sure. And like,
shit.
I was like, yeah. So he's like one of the guys that I like eternally like. I remember even writing on all my whenever I put out a CD. I bet it's still on that Moment in Time CD. Shout out all my like thank yous was Dano O'Shea. Like he's the guy that really made me do this and has supported me in every single way. Anytime I put out a project, he listens to it. He supports it. Like he
criticizes it.
Yeah, of course. And like he
tells you
like
what you could do better, what you did well.
Exactly. Like he really is like the god to me, which is crazy because he's just a genius to me. Like I love everything he does. And you know, I had that headlining show and he came out and he was like, yeah, like I'll just hang out and see what's going on. He messaged me after
headline?
Warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
And he hit me up. He's like, I love the show. Like it was great. And I was like, it's so nice. And like he introduced me to so many people. Like those little venues, like we met at those venues, for example. Like I met so many people just from him being like, "Do you want to come open for half an hour and do some songs?" I'm like, "I would love to." Or going up, like I came up on stage with them when they played In the Soil 2 years ago.
I was there. I filmed it. I
Did
sent
you
you the
own it?
link on Facebook.
Oh, you did? Yes, you're right.
I didn't make it public yet because I didn't know. I'm really funny about that stuff. And I don't ever want to put something up that you go, fucking take that down. I
Yeah.
don't want anyone to see that. Don't you know I was sick that day or something?
Yeah,
Like, blah,
it's
blah,
a
blah.
it's a dangerous
So,
game.
and I did that about a year ago. I just found it. I'm like, oh shit! I wonder if this kid even knows this exists.
Yeah.
So I uploaded. I'm like, hey,
I
look
remember
what
seeing
found.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's private.
Yeah.
Nobody else. It's an unlisted track, anyways. But
Still, but I remember.
I'll make it public if you give me the permission to.
Sure, of course, yeah. I remember though he was like, "Yo, can I literally went with my dad and I was like, let's just watch the show because it's gonna be cool." And do you have any idea how many people were there? I don't remember. It was in
a few hundred. It was in the tent on James Street, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I remember I was there and they're doing Pigeon Park is a song I always go up and do it with, and they're like, "Everett, come up," and I was like, okay, and I walk up on stage, and just the fact that and Jacob's amazing too.
Oh,
but they're just
man,
like
one of my favorite kids. Man.
Yeah,
he's such a nice boy.
He's a nice guy, and I talked to Dano, just walked up. He's like, yeah, just do it. It was cool, and then we played at Lee's Palace 3-4 months ago, and the same thing. They're going back. They're going back with Revive the Rose, which is gonna be a great show. I'm gonna try to get out to that one.
Andy.
Yeah. Great band. They're blowing.
I love Andy.
They're part of that generation too. They're also killing it.
I knew Andy when he was this big.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was engaged to his aunt.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
so
crazy connections.
I know the whole family, all the Mantini girls and their husbands, and another really cool family, the Spagnolls, and
them and we'll wrap it up whenever you want. You just tell me when we're done.
Yeah.
But, even in that new generation, I forgot Revive the Rose and Avenue Inn are two other people that I'm like, ooh, they're amazing. I'd love to put them in that group too. But no, Dano,
That's
even
Jake Rose, Avenue Inn.
I don't know. I've never really met them, but I've been to a few of their shows.
I'm pretty sure it's Jake Rose.
They're amazing. But I remember I went up on stage in the Soil, and Dano was just like, "You got it, go for it." And I was like, a few hundred people, and I was like, "Let's freestyle." Okay, cool. And even we played Lee's Palace. It was just kind of like, "Yo, let's go!" Come up on. I was like, "Yo, can I come up on stage?" He's like, "Yeah, let's go." Of course. He's so supportive. He's amazing. So. I guess I'll go Dano all day. He's my guy.
Dano, it's funny because they are comparing Dano and Jacob, two super nice guys, but in totally different ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Jacob is just he's. I love the way he's just so laid back.
I love it. He's great.
He's like, you know what? And Dano's a lot more serious. I call him the business end of the hurricane. Right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But that's why he does best, right? He's crazy. I love it. I love the whole band of Mice and the Hurricane. They're always swapping out people. Excuse me. They're always swapping out people and doing things. But everybody I met from that band is so great and they're so talented. I'd love to do. I'm really starting to diversify my music, so I'd love to do a song with them, but not their kind of style. I'd love to put some horns and a guitar solo and Jacob's crazy ad libs into a rap song, like my kind of rap song. I think that'd be amazing. I'd love to.
Maybe
do
you
that.
should have them guest host on your album.
I want to. I want to do.
Have you done anything on their albums before?
No, I'd always love to though.
They put up. They've always got guests on. Ashley Standish is doing one. She does a little piano. Actually, she's got a whole song, I think. And so you'll get there, man.
I'd love to. Anytime anybody wants to ask me for a feature, and that kind of goes to anybody. I've interacted with people, and I try not to be this person where they're like, "Yeah, man, I got this song. If you want a feature, it's $200. Come do a verse." Or I've asked people, and they give me that response, and I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that." But I'm open, literally. Anybody that wants a verse, and that's why I think, and Jessica mentioned it, I'd love to do stuff with Jessica because she's so not my genre, but I still listen. I love her new song.
She can't figure out a fucking genre.
Her
genre changes every week.
But her new song though, Underdog,
I can't get it out of my head. I listened to it once. I can't really again. That's not my genre either. But I listened to the song.
It's killer.
It's so embarrassing when you're going around. I
know, but it's so good.
Last night I'm rolling with Matthew, and his songs are stuck in my head. So you know how you sing them out loud, you get an earworm
along.
But
it's his song.
Yeah, he's with you,
and he's like,
"It's fucking so embarrassing." And same with Jessica. I like the song. It's I'm proud of her. She did great, but it got stuck in my head to the point that
that's how you know it's good.
Yeah,
that's how you know. But
and it's not my genre. It's just not. But
it's kind of becoming my genre though. I like 80s synth pop stuff.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I haven't heard it enough. But the first time I heard it, I was just so surprised that it stuck.
Yeah.
So I got a Mice on the Hurricane. It's a parade, but I thought this was just of you.
It might be the whole song.
Maybe you're at the end of it.
I think I was the second or third guest verse on that. Because I know Jack Shit was there. I think so. I think Jack Shit was there.
Oh, yeah. Here you are coming. Is this you coming on stage now?
I have the Canadian tuxedo on. I didn't go on until Pigeon Park, though. I might be like 3/4 way into the set.
I don't know where that clip is then, because I don't think this is it. And I think I tagged you. I think I put your name on it. This is just the parade.
Oh, it's okay. I got a clip of it on Instagram anyway.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. But no, like
from a different shot.
My dad just like filmed it on his phone.
Okay.
It was like perfect. But like, yeah, I'm honestly like Jessica saying that. Like, I love to work with Everett. I'm like, I would love to write for anybody. I'd love to work on anything, like any genre, like open call to literally anybody. Like, I'd love to do any music with anybody, even just jam or anything. Like, I'm a lot of the time in my room writing and doing my own thing. So I'd love to like Jessica mentioned, we were talking about doing a song a little while ago. Like, I'd love to do that. I know Gravely James, killer dude too. He wanted to do a song together. Me, Nick B, and Deepax and Kojin all have a song coming together. Like, a lot of like, I'd love to do as much work with people as possible and write and rap and whatever you need. Like, I think, what I'm trying to be is like, when anybody wants a rap feature, I'm the first thing that you go to.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Boy. Yeah,
like, everybody kind of has their category, and that's like, I love to be the person that you can come to that's, hey, I'd love to do a rap verse, but I don't want like a trap. I want just do what I'm doing. I can do it. Like, I love to just flex what other people are wanting. And like Jessica, I'd love to do a song with Jessica. That'd be crazy. Or Valerie, she's on my songs, but I'd love to do one of hers, and I'm always down to give a guest feature. But My Son the Hurricane, that's a good checkpoint to put on the list. Love to be on a song of theirs. That'd be crazy.
Here it is, and it's unlisted. It just says MSTH Champion.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So that's not the first time you're on stage with them.
No. I've been on stage with them since 14, 15. But yeah, this is the first
and
4
Tuvi's
lines are
recording too.
Yeah. First 4 lines are written, and everything else is freestyle.
You're killing it, man.
And then this is where freestyle comes in.
It's just from my phone, but
yeah.
Jacob.
Yeah, people liked it. I was like, oh, cool. Like, sweet.
The Jack Shit comes up until it cleans up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really am grateful to Dano and that whole band for like everything. Like, they really threw me into the culture of knowing local artists and meeting people. And yeah, like, I met Theater Crisp with them, who I ended up recording with Jay. Like, I've met so many different people that I ended up working with, and they're crazy. They're amazing.
Jay's a good man too.
Jay's
I had him
dude.
over the other day. I got to play this for you. This has never been done.
Man, Jack Shit's nice too. I forgot about how.
He's so nice.
He's killer.
I love Jack Shit.
He's a nice guy.
And some new stuff coming from those two, eh?
From who? From Jack Shit and Jay. Is it Batty or Beatty?
I say Beatty.
Beatty? I'm not really sure, but
yeah, it's Beatty.
Dope. Well, I'd love to see what they got cooking up too.
Yeah, and then there's some really cool stuff coming from Jacob and My Son the Hurricane, obviously.
Yeah, their new album,
stuff like that.
Ride the Bullet. Go pre-order that.
Yeah,
go cop that.
Baby, Ride the Bullet.
I love it.
Where was I going again?
You were pulling up something, I think.
Yeah. Oh, brain fart.
Oh, that's all good.
Oh yeah, Beatty.
Yeah.
So, I love the rock stars, but I love they're my friends, right? Like, I can call Beatty and go, fuck, dude. Like, I'm working on this thing. I need your help.
Mm-hmm.
Come over for a few hours. I'll cook you something to eat, and we'll hang and we'll kind of work through it. So I told him, well, I don't have an intro for the show. I mean, I don't do many edits at all. Like, this is up. It'll go up live. There's no edits. I might put some titles up or put your website or your Twitter handle.
Do you know when you're going to put it up?
Oh, it'll be up as soon as I'm done. Yeah, it'll go up today.
Oh, sweet. Awesome.
But I'm live streaming on YouTube, so I think as soon as I hit kill, it'll be there.
Cool.
So Beatty.
Yeah. The boy.
I go, and they're so, like, the whole, even the new guys, I love them all, but Kyle Pesci's good guy
Great
as well.
guy, yeah.
And so I don't have an intro for the show, and that's fine. And so I'm like, you know what? I want it. Can you build me something dark, spooky? And I give him in a text message. I'm like, here's what I'm looking for: deep synth bass, like sub
in there, yeah.
Rising, evil, monstrous, like even and I use my son the Hurricane. I think Smile kind of builds at the beginning with the trumpets.
Yeah,
and it's like I remember the monster movies when I was a kid. Yeah. It's like the gargantuan coming out of the ocean.
Yeah, Godzilla's approaching the city. It's
exactly.
Like, oh God.
Exactly. So, and my niece is here, and we're just. I don't even think we were drinking that day. We just got really high.
Yeah,
it was real, and he likes to smoke, and I haven't been smoking all that much lately, but this is just like, come over, we'll get baked, and we'll have some laughs, and like, what do you think?
Yeah.
So he brings his little
MIDI keyboard.
Yeah, the drum machine with the loops on it or whatever. And as he's like adding the snare. And then he's adding the bass drum, and then he's got this buzzing. He says, listen to this, it's like a bee buzzing around. I don't know. I just like it. I like it, eh?
I want to hear it.
And as he's playing it, I'm going, dude, that's exactly what I asked for. I'm not sure where I can use it.
Ooh.
It's like slasher movie.
It's an intro to an album.
I'm like, dude, this can't be the opening for my show because it's too dark. But where am I going to use it? It's exactly. He called it a deep dark hole.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's really cool. I like it. That's actually really cool.
It's so wicked. And this is like I'm making food with my niece. She's hungry, so I'm making her fried chicken, right?
And he's cooking this thing up.
Yeah,
like,
it is. I like it. I'm yelling down the stairs, dude. That's so sick. And I go, crazy. It's exactly, dude, Jay. It's exactly what I asked for.
Yeah.
And then this is what he's worked. He just said, "What do you think about this for like maybe an opening riff?"
Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like a good Jim Fannon.
Yeah, or at the end or whatever. Anyways,
that'd be a great intro or outro for sure.
Yeah. He said, "Oh no, I got to clean it up and blah blah blah." That like when he built that deep dark hole. Freshly squeezed studio. We love you, Beatty. You're a good man. You're a good man. Anyways, thank you very much, man. I love you. You're a good man.
I love you too.
I'm glad you came in and
thank you for having me.
I wish you all the success, and if I can ever help you out or step up or MC or help you out anywhere, sure. I'm yours. I'm game for all that kind of stuff. I'm always flattered when it happens. I've never I don't know how you create a career as an MC, but I love it. And you know what?
You can be the first.
And I don't take myself very seriously because, I'm glad to hear that at that gig that I introduced you, that I went through all the bands, because that's important.
Of course.
Because sometimes you don't see the MC for the rest of the night. He introduces the band and that's it.
Yeah.
But that would be a pretty cool way to make a living, but nobody wants to listen to the MC make jokes for 15 minutes. You want to get in and out. Who's this kid? What's important to be said right now?
And go.
And get. I always, I'm always like, oh, I'm going to prepare. I'm going to really hold the audience attention. No, the audience wants you to get the fuck off the stage.
Yeah.
So be funny while you're up there. Be functional as far as give my boy some love. It's really going to go a long way. It's his first performance. I don't know what I said, but I'm glad to hear that I had the brains to make it decent enough. So because I'm always hard on myself, I'm like, you know what? When Dano was here, We had this deep, long discussion about all kinds of things, and it's really cool because I love the business mind of it. I love the business end of the hurricane, right?
Yeah. Oh,
and then I get done, and I said, and G was here that day. He was running the mic levels. He was kind of like engineering, and I usually don't have someone to help me with that. And I'm like, as soon as I'm done, I'm like, well, that was really good.
Yeah.
And then the chirping, the voice in my head is like, well, why the fuck did you do that anyway?
Nah.
Like, it's not going to pay you $1. It's not going to sell any houses. There's no one that's going to fucking look at this and say, "Whoa, wow, you changed my life."
But did you like doing it?
I do.
Then there
I
you
do.
go.
Like, I love my peeps, and I love Dano, and I just love my peeps, and I think that one day someone will look back on it and go, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you remember that interview you had with Ev?
Yeah.
Well, he said this one thing, and it changed my life."
Exactly.
And even better if it's not me. If I'm the conduit, awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not sitting here thinking, well, I'm going to say something really profound that's going to change someone's life today.
Yeah.
But if I provide the opportunity for you to say something real, like, oh, I'm struggling with this, and we didn't get into that too much, but I'm always interested in, especially, rock stars. Which I put, hey, you're rock star.
Oh, thank you, man.
And I always like them when they go, you know what? I really have a hard time with this. And that's kind of why I asked you, what's that shitty voice in your head say? Because lots of times that's when people connect. When you, especially as a man, get vulnerable and you go, hey, you know what? I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And people don't know this about me, but I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm this. And we're like,
oh my God.
And people are going, I'm that too.
Yeah.
And it's okay now.
Yeah.
Because,
for sure.
wow. Like, it's okay to say it.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's a whole stigma with, like, men not being able to talk about their feelings, which is so dumb. I'm like, dude, like, I struggle just as much as anybody. It's just, like, we all have problems. We all have to talk about things. And, like, yeah, no, I feel that. I appreciate you saying that for sure.
Yeah.
But no, you know what I meant? I'd love to come back another time for sure. Like, I'd love to come back.
When's this album going to drop? Because we didn't talk about when it's coming out.
Oh, so it's in the mixing process right now. Almost everything is recorded. Everything is recorded. There's just minor changes that I've been writing down that I want to do and kind of edit some things and add some things. But I know Kyle Whitaker is moving. He's shutting down Strange Pumpkin Studios and just making it a mixing business, which I think is a great idea as well. So he's building a home studio now. So I don't think he's doing anything this second. But once he's back up, he's going to start mixing, and we're going to start like Skype calling, figuring out how we want the mix. I'm looking at like beginning of summer, hopefully midsummer. Like, I don't want it to be. I felt like a lot of my projects, I put them out, and then it's kind of like cool for the 2 weeks, and then like, what's next? Like, this one I want it to be a drawn out process. Like,
You're not going to drop the whole album at once?
No, like I already have the first few singles ready. We're doing the video for the first single, which is going to be, I would say, probably one of my best songs ever. It's coming out soon. It's got actually a lot of Nico's on it as well. Actually, there's a lot of like it's like a big group kind of song. It's me, Nico, my buddy Chris, who's on Juliet. It's and then my brother named Kyle Damji, KDD. He's from Markham, but we go to school together in Toronto. But it's a song that we're doing together. So once the video's shot, that's going to come out. So I'm not rushing to put the album out too much, but it's probably going to come out, like, it'll come out beginning of summer, probably midsummer. Like,
cool.
I don't know exactly when, but.
And so are you going to do it like Hurricane did? You drop 3 songs for a pre-release and then the rest of the album later? Or are you just like a song a month, or are you going to drop it?
I don't think it's going to be as structured as that. Like, I want it to really be drawn out and take people, like, give people time to, like, ingest the music and really like it. Like, I have a feeling that the very first single is called Visco. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy it and then want to live with it and hopefully, you know, play it at parties and get used to it. That's why summer is a great time to be putting other stuff out. But no, I think what I'll do is like put out I don't want to put out any songs that don't have a video. That's my main thing, is I don't do a lot of music videos just because they cost money, and I'm constantly what I'm spending my music money on is going back to the studio and doing more songs. So I want to take a step back from that. I start doing more videos. So space them out. I don't have like an exact timing. It's kind of like when they're done, we'll figure out a release date. But I want to put out at least 3 to 4 singles, like maybe every month. I don't want to be like the last Sunday of every month, get ready for a video. Like, I kind of want to be like, you don't know, like, just drop it, be like, Friday it's coming out, like, that's it. Like, cool. Be like, get ready for it.
Yeah, that's what Roadways is doing. They're dropping one soon. They're like out of nowhere.
I like that. That's what I like, when you're like, oh shit, okay, like, you have like, my audience hasn't heard from me musically since May of last year, because that's when I put out
so it'll be almost 12 months.
Yeah, it'll be like, hey, I'm back.
Yep.
drop singles. I want to line up a lot more shows and constantly see my name, obviously Instagram and Facebook, like posts and sponsored posts, and constantly get the name out there, play shows as much as I can, and then drop the album. And I'd love to sort of book some sort of tour. Like I don't think I have a name big enough yet where I could sell out any place, but I'd love to like get some acts together and maybe play like Waterloo, Toronto, London, all these little like university cities, because I have friends at all these universities, and then go on a little tour once this album is out, which is another checkpoint of mine. But no, I really feel like this album is, and everybody says this, but this album's like the one that's gonna do it. Like I faithfully know that. Like it's not gonna be put it out, hey guys, check my project out. My friends are like, yeah, okay, we hear you all the time. This is like, I want it to be undeniable. Like you have to listen to this thing because it's the thing everybody's gonna be listening to. It's like the next iPod. It's gonna be the thing that you go, man, have you heard it yet? You haven't heard it, dude? Let's sit together for an hour. Let's listen to this thing because you need to hear this shit. Oh. That's what I want it to be. And it's 16 songs. It's probably gonna be like an hour and 15, 20 minutes. Like it's a long project. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to it. I'm ready for it. Like I'm ready to put it out when it's done and people to sit there and consume it, because there's levels to it. There's a story. There's themes. There's even if you listen back to the other projects, you're like, damn, that character was in that, and they said this would happen. Oh my god, holy shit! Like there's level. It's like Good Kid, Mad City. It's Kendrick Lamar's masterpiece that you got to listen to it a few times to get it. So I'm ready. I've been writing it since September of 2017. I gave myself a window of September to April 2017, just like my first year of university, and write it. And only other one song is written that wasn't in that time frame, but everything it's been written, it's been made, it's gone through a lot of different changes, and yeah, it's the one that people are gonna like. Is weirdly enough, people are gonna take me seriously after this one. Is the one that people go, man, fuck yeah. Now, if the last 4 wasn't enough for you, this are you still not sure after this? Like, are you still not sure you want to support? Because this is the one that's gonna make you support.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
You want to do a battle rap on the way out?
Battle rap? I don't know. What do you? You got some bars?
Oh, you need beats?
I'm good. You got some bars?
No, you mean what's bars?
You got lines? You got a song? Lyrics?
No.
No?
I was gonna say, well, I'll put you on the spot, and you got a couple of lines that you've already got that your go-to. Then maybe you can invent on the fly something about the Jim Fannon Show.
The Jim Fannon Show.
And if you want to say no, that's cool.
No, let me
How do I look?
You look good.
It's time to take this long.
Everett Champion. But yo, check out. Yeah, but hey, if you like my music and you like what we talk about today, check out all my social media at Everett Champion, on Twitter at Everett Champion Music, on Instagram. I'm launching a brand new website with everything on there very soon. But if you liked everything you heard, definitely check it out and come back to the Jim Fannon Show, and you'll hear some great interviews, some great topics, and you'll learn more about your favorite artists and local people. So, Jim, thank you for having me, and we'll see you guys next time. And check it out. Oh, by the way, real quick, I do have a few shows. Battle rap. I got a few shows coming up real quick though.
Okay, yeah, promo.
I wrote them down. February 22nd at 12 Mile Lounge. You should definitely come to that. March 8th, I am in Toronto with Kojin and KDD and a few other guys. And then March 16th, I'm back at the Warehouse with Kojin, and it's going to be a great show. You guys should all come to it. So, yeah, that's my little spiel. But
you freestyle something on the way out, or you want?
I'm trying to think.
Well, you gotta. I thought you were gonna.
All right, so we're on the live show, chilling with Jim Fannon, shooting so many shots you'd think it was a cannon. I panic on tracks. Y'all really can't stand it, understand it. I'm the next one alive. Go and grab the album MMA 905.
905, bitch.
There we go.
Cool. Thanks, man.
No worries. Thank you.
So 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Jeez, that's a long interview. That was dope, though. That was really fun.